And it says we're live. Hello. All right. This is the sound check portion of the show, people. Let us know how we sound. Dave, say something.
Something.
All right. Let us know how we sound. We'll get started here in just a few minutes.
Go get me something while I'm waiting.
Yeah. Who? What? Did that just say we went live?
It did.
I saw a notification pop on Dave's phone.
Everything's going off.
All right. So,
damn.
What?
USC fires Clay Helton. Wow.
Crazy.
Two games into the season, gone. First head coach.
They must be doing pretty poorly.
Next one will be Harbaugh.
So this is the
wow.
Yeah. Note the 17%. And these things are so smooth. I'll show the show the audience here. Yeah.
So this could be an interesting episode. Though.
Yeah, my buddy Brad got me onto these. I went to his house last week because he just got back from school, and he's like, "Yeah, try this." I'm like, "That's really fucking good," but also very strong.
Yeah,
so
dangerous.
Yes, very dangerous. So I'm going to try to limit myself. I have a bunch of water here.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. All right. How do we sound, people? Come on.
Did I say any clicks? I didn't see any.
I didn't see shit. Nobody's saying anything. They're all saying hi to each other. Yeah, they're all saying.
They've been talking for like a half hour.
Yeah.
Since.
Okay, this isn't about you guys in the chat. This is about us. So,
well, for now,
let's keep focus. All right. Lunar Girl says we sound good. I thought you weren't going to be in the chat tonight.
No, she's babysitting.
Oh.
You know how babysitting is. You know, it's really just about making sure the kid doesn't die.
Right.
All right.
Well, that's half of what parenting is for the first 3 or 4 years, just making sure they don't kill themselves.
It's pretty much their entire existence. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's true.
It doesn't get any less pertinent when they're adults.
Hector gave us an L click.
Nice.
It should have been El Clicko, I think.
El Click A with the accent grave.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Nice. Thank you, Hector.
Accent grave. What is it? Accent grave. Who speaks French?
The fuck are you talking about?
So that accent, like in French, is accent grave. And I think the other one's accent grave. Gives an indication of the accent point.
Speak American, goddammit.
So, yeah. My, French. I took French.
Clearly. But I think we've talked about this.
Yeah, I should have taken Spanish. I really should
have. Stupid question. Do you have your top 5 songs?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure. One thing we didn't do that I completely forgot about was like hated songs of the year. So we're not going to have a list of that. But I mean, as we go, I've got that list of singles, that Wikipedia link. Right. We can go through that as we're talking. And I'm sure over the course of the show, we'll come across songs that we may not have been very fond of.
Shit. My number 5 didn't.
All right. Well, why don't you figure that out?
I'm working it.
It's still 5:24, so we still got a few minutes.
Shit. Again, I suck. So, I was supposed to log in this week and fucking update. Update the how you doing? Put the Rogue 5. Fuck.
Red 5.
Red 5.
Yeah, I mean, we may have to keep that stuff to a minimum anyway, just because.
I mean, for the 30-second, that's what I'm talking about. Like, have that going during our 30-second. That way, we don't have to spend as much time on it in the beginning.
That would have been smart.
Yeah, and I meant to do that last week, but I got busy flying the space plane.
Speaking of space, James Webb launch date December
18th, right?
Yeah, pretty damn close to Christmas.
Yeah. They're shipping it down to like they're launching it like in South America, I think.
Are they?
Yeah, it's not out of the US.
Huh.
So they're actually putting it on a boat. They're going to put it through the fucking Panama Canal to go down to another launch platform. Yeah. Billions of dollars fucking hanging in the balance.
Yeah, and how many years in development? Like this has been a long fucking time coming. Yeah.
2025.
And you're just going to do that. We're just going to throw it on a boat. Just fucking ship it to good old South America.
Yep.
Christ almighty.
Kwajalein? No, not.
Yo, Kwajalein. I love that place.
Yeah, it's not Kwajalein. It's something. I think it's in
Dark side.
Chile.
All right. Did you fix your top 5? Oh my god.
Might have to fix it in post.
That Long Island is so good.
It's gonna be bad. It's gonna be so bad.
All right, so I got my top 5 here. Oh, they did the guessing game. Well, so Lunar Girl sent over the guesses for your number one.
I have yours.
Oh, so we're not supposed to see them.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep.
It's all making sense now.
I have Oh, okay. Yeah.
I have several honorable mentions as well. Like, honestly, I could have 50 honorable mentions. I just thought of another one. What are you giggling about over there?
Some of the guesses for you.
Oh, I can only imagine. There was actually one that I got a really good laugh out of for you.
And that's part of it, right?
Yeah, it's all fun and games. All right.
Just give me a minute here.
Yep. Bring up the notes on my iPad.
Those wings were good.
Yeah, they were.
Definitely tasty.
My glass is all dirty.
What?
It's funny.
That can't be right.
What?
Hang on. What's funny?
The fact that in the last week we probably could have done this and not had to run the AC in here at all. But today, all of a sudden, it's
90 fucking degrees today.
Yeah. It's like, we're going to be warm tonight.
That's fine.
And we've also got some Discord chat going on. So we got shit flying everywhere. Scott's a funny guy.
Where do you have the Discord app for your viewing?
It's just notifications coming across. I'm not in any channel. Oh God.
Reactor.
No, Tom, you must have missed it when we first went live. I am drinking Long Island iced teas tonight. So that's why everybody's thinking that I'm going to be shit-faced pretty early, and they're probably accurate.
Yeah, they're thinking it because you said it.
True.
Is Jason still drinking it early as Oktoberfest?
Yep.
With
With any luck, I'll be teleworking tomorrow. So,
with any luck,
yeah.
You don't know if you're going to be teleworking yet.
It's a 90% chance I will be. So,
Smarticle Particles. Okay, Guyana. ESA Guyana is where they're going to launch the thing. Sorry, I'm catching up to the chat. Can I reach?
Not to be confused with Ghana.
Right. Guyana, two separate places.
Yeah. I know. That's why I said don't confuse them.
Yeah. Just...
Christ almighty. Are you all right?
No. All right. I'm ready.
All right. My toast.
Thank God.
Whenever you're ready, give us a countdown.
Okay.
Lion face. Lemon face. Ooh.
Ready. Sounds good. Keep your COVID over there, please. And
If I have COVID, you have it too. So just stop.
and go.
To Tom Kane.
Tom Kane.
Tom Kane, the famous Disney Star Wars voice actor.
Oh. Okay, that's where you're going with that.
Yeah, he did the voice of Yoda in the Clone Wars. He was the narrator in the Clone Wars? Like, oh, you talk like this.
Yes.
So it was just announced recently that he suffered from a stroke and is now officially retired from voice acting because of that. So yeah, just well wishes to him. Guy who's made a pretty big impact in the Star Wars universe. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, indeed.
So get well, Tom Kane, and enjoy your retirement, sir.
You ever make it to a Dare Manor? Like,
yeah. Oh yeah. I've stayed there at least twice.
Yeah. Did you meet Tom Kane?
I don't know.
Tom Kane was the proprietor and the reason why we got hooked up there.
Oh, I've heard the stories. I don't think I met that guy. No.
Yeah. No, his name is also Tom Kane.
Oh, sweet.
So like I said, I wasn't 100% sure where you were going with that.
Yeah. No, Tom Kane, the voice actor, again, huge impact in the Star Wars universe, and it'll be sad to see him go, but hopefully he's still got many years ahead of him.
Yes.
In retirement. That being said, hello everyone, and welcome to the Sidebar Cantina, the podcast where we talk about Star Wars, pop culture, NFL football, or whatever the fuck we feel like talking about. I'm Mr. Jason Roskam. With me here each and every single week, the Philadelphia Eagle to my San Francisco 49er, Dave Martin. Hello, Dave.
It's not quite sure how that's analogous, but okay.
Well, we'll find out this weekend. We'll find out who's the top and who's the bottom by the end of Sunday.
We will indeed.
So, how are you?
I'm fucking tired. I'm tired.
Yeah.
We'll get into why.
Yeah. We'll get into why I'm tired too when we get into our weeks. But before we get into that, what are we talking about today?
What are we talking about today?
I sure hope you know at this point.
Oh yeah, it's the whole it's the music of 1991, which may or may not have had a couple of good albums. A couple notable albums were released that year. Maybe we might have to dig deep to find some good music in 1991.
Yeah, but
yes. I think we can get there.
Yeah, I think we can. And that's the main topic today. But before we get into that, we've got a bunch of other business to get to. Why don't we start with the Red 5 Network?
We can do that. I'm being told that my microphone is a little off. We're going to go. And then there you go. Hopefully that's better. What am I talking about? Oh yeah, Red 5 Network. We are a member of the Red 5 Network, and there are lots of really good podcasts happening in the Red 5 Network. Go to red5network.com, RED, the number 5, network.com. And you will do it.
Do it.
And in all fairness, the Red 5 Network, like the site is still not 100% up to date. So if you look on there, you might not find us, but there's still a lot of really good podcasts.
Yeah.
They got this huge growth surge right now, and they're super good. So do it.
Check them out. All right.
More to follow at the end of the show.
Before we get into this or that, we have one little piece of news that I wanted to discuss. There was a little announcement. Sony was doing some PlayStation 5 announcement rigmarole.
What's PlayStation 5?
Nothing that I give a shit about, honestly.
Same.
However, something that we might be interested in was a game that was announced. And that was the Knights of the Old Republic remake.
I did see that.
Yeah. And the hype is fucking real. Now, this was done during a PlayStation 5 event. So when it comes out initially, now this is only initially, they specifically said at launch, it will be a PlayStation 5 and a PC exclusive. Okay. That doesn't mean that it's never going to come to the Xbox Sex, but for now, it's gonna launch on PlayStation and PC simultaneously, and then other platforms later.
And that makes sense. It's not like this is the first time that's ever happened.
Right.
There used to be, I feel like there used to be system exclusives all the time.
Yeah, and as we've kind of homogenized the consoles, it's become less and less. But the irony of this whole situation is the original Knights of the Old Republic that this is remaking was an original Xbox exclusive that never came out on PS2.
Oh, that's really funny.
Yeah, so it's sort of a rather ironic situation that
it is indeed.
Now it's going to be PlayStation exclusive, at least initially.
Yeah,
but I'll probably just get it for PC anyway, and I am super excited about this. And we will, whenever it comes out, probably a couple of years from now, we'll have to dig pretty deep into it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you have it also, but I downloaded Knights of the Republic. Both, it's in my Steam account, and I have it also on my Xbox account. You know, when they were, because you could still play those old games. I never owned the original copy, but I've downloaded it subsequently. So yeah, that looks, that'll be.
Oh yeah, I've got
an
original copy in that stack of games over there. I've got it on Steam. I've got it on my Xbox account, and I have it in my Apple account because there's a mobile version.
Oh really?
Yeah. So.
Oh yeah, I've played that.
Yeah.
I tried to. It was going to be my replacement for Vice City on my work iPad, and then things I probably shouldn't have been using my work iPad for things like that, and things happen. But
how dare you? I would never do that. As an active member of the military, I would never do anything the such. But you retiree, you can do whatever you want.
I actually have. I'm issued an iPad again.
Oh, are you? Yeah. That's funny. All right. That being said, let's get into this or that. So, as you know, our social media director, Lunar Girl, puts up a poll every week on our Instagram. And what is our Instagram, Dave?
At the Sidebar Cantina.
That's right. And she gives you two options. You answer them, and we go over the results here on the show.
Yes.
And they always pertain to that week's subject. So, obviously, we're talking about music of the early 90s. And let's just get into it. The first one, who did you like more, Mariah Carey or Whitney Houston?
Mariah Carey.
Yeah. I mean, if you've listened to this podcast for any length of time, you know my answer is going to also be Mariah Carey. However, not to take anything away from Whitney Houston. Super fucking talented.
Right.
When you get her away from all the cocaine and everything.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
It is. And, oh, God, I've got a funny sidebar about that later on as we actually get into the music. But, no, super fucking talented. And we're going to get into some specific stuff for hers when we start talking about the music of 91. But, no, Mariah Carey was my girl. She was my one and only love in the early 90s. So that's right. Different year, though. So it was very close. Whitney Houston won 51% to 49%.
Totally understandable.
Yeah.
What year did The Bodyguard come out?
I want to say 92 or 93. Jamie looked that up. It was not 91. That's for sure. Because that fucking song was everywhere.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. So I want to say 92.
That is a guilty pleasure. I really enjoyed that movie.
So yeah, somebody in the chat, let us know The Bodyguard, but I'm pretty sure 92.
If it's 92, then we're doing it next year.
Yeah. This is the next one. Best hip hop, Color Me Bad or Boys to Men?
Boys to Men.
I knew you would answer that. Well, I was obviously a Color Me Bad guy.
Right.
We're gonna get into that as we get into it, but this was pretty much a landslide. Boys to Men killed Color Me Bad, 81% to 19.
Yeah. I mean, for obvious reasons. I mean, Color Me Bad had good hits. Mm-hmm. It did.
And Jamie confirmed my suspicions. 1992 for The Bodyguard.
Very good.
So
thank you, Scott. From
so
the Abuse podcast.
When we talk about the music of 92, that will most definitely come up. Mm-hmm. Favorite rock band. This is another good one. Guns N' Roses versus Metallica.
It's not even close for me.
And I was always a Guns N' Roses guy. Again, not to take anything away from Metallica because they were pretty badass too, but I was always a Guns N' Roses guy. No. But you were in the majority. Metallica won 57% to 43%.
What's funny too is if Metallica doesn't do the Black Album, doesn't track the same way.
Yeah.
I'm sure we're going to talk about it a little bit. And just fair warning. This is not what prompted this was the release of Metallica's Black Album.
Yeah, which last week celebrated its 30th anniversary.
Yeah, the 30th anniversary. We are not here to talk the entire thing about Metallica because we had a Metallica episode. Mm-hmm. Go back to episode. Edit that into whatever episode it was.
I will do no such thing.
And see how we stand on Metallica. But yeah, it wasn't for me. It wasn't even close.
Yeah, and Bronco Fed in the chat wanted to emphasize it's bad spelled BADD in Color Me Bad.
Yes.
So now getting into rap, Heavy D and the Boys versus Naughty by Nature.
Naughty by Nature.
Yeah, I picked them too. I mean,
Heavy D had like what one memorable song for me.
Yeah. Now that we found love, what are we gonna do? with it. Yeah. He had another song too, but like none of them were ever like real big commercial successes. Naughty by Nature had one pretty big fucking hit in that year. So yeah, I went with them and they won 79% to 21%. Last one, favorite grunge. Now, before you answer this grunge thing is a very interesting piece of the music of this year. And we're gonna dig pretty deep into this because I think there's a lot of misconceptions out there about the rise of grunge and when it started to get big and everything, but we'll get there.
Okay.
For now, it's Nirvana, obviously, versus Pearl Jam.
Yeah, it's going to be Nirvana.
I went with Pearl Jam. I always like Pearl Jam more.
Yeah, it's really, really close. It's really, really close.
Yeah. And again, not to take anything away from Nirvana. We did a whole fucking episode about them. Insert episode. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But this actually was not as much of a landslide as I had expected. Nirvana did win 76% to 24%. And that was this week's This or That. So thank you again to our social media director, Luna Girl.
Who is amazing.
And tune in to our Instagram for next week's This or That poll.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, we're talking about a bad movie next week. So hopefully next week's poll will be bad movies.
Yep.
That being said, you ready to get into our week?
Yes.
All right. Well, this is going to be very quick for me. I didn't do shit since the last time we recorded except work. So I worked all weekend. It was long, fucking just tiring days, very, very busy. And I would come home, I'd relax for an hour and a half or so, and then I'd go to fucking bed. And I'd wake up super fucking early and I'd start the cycle over again. Since the last time we recorded, I have not had a day off. So I'm pretty fucking tired.
Yeah, it's that Dirty Dozen, man. It's
Yeah.
fucking brutal.
Mhm.
Absolutely brutal. I do not miss those days at all.
Yeah, I had a little bit of a reprieve today because I had a doctor's appointment in Philadelphia this morning about my shoulder. Long story short, they want me to do 6 more weeks of physical therapy before deciding on surgery.
Is it helping?
Okay.
A
little bit, but that's a whole other long story. So, yeah, that's been my week pretty much. And oh, by the way, I worked all day yesterday on Sunday during football, the first week of the fucking NFL season. I didn't get to see a single minute of NFL action.
Sad face.
Indeed.
So, speaking of NFL action, before I get into my week, I want to congratulate listener to the pod, our Bulgarian contingent, Ivo G, who is also on our fantasy football extravaganza.
Mm-hmm.
He got to call the Steelers Bills game in Bulgaria.
No shit.
Yeah, he did the NFL call. And
do we have a link to that? Oh my god.
No, I couldn't find it.
I would love to have a link to that. That'd be awesome.
Apparently he needs a co-host. So as soon as if I can learn a language, I'll go out there and I'll help you.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic.
Yeah, man. Way to go, Ivo.
He said dream for like 15 years. That's fucking awesome. That's really, really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the NFL is huge for us. I can't imagine being an NFL fan outside of the United States and having that opportunity. It's got to be really cool. So hopefully you get to do more of them. That would be fantastic.
Well, that being said, what about your week, Dave?
What did I do this week? So I think I talked a little bit about the past couple of weeks, how I was doing that donation drive for the vulnerable Afghans and all that stuff. I'm sure I talked about it. That was like what little free time I have, which I don't. It occupied 90% of it, answering emails and everything. First, thank you to everyone who contributed to that. The amount of stuff that was collected over that 2-week period, it was one 15-foot stake body truck. So picture like 2.5 pickup beds, stack that to the top with diapers and, other type products like that. It's completely to the top. Boom. That was like one day. And that was all we had. We cubed out. And we didn't even make a dent in that stuff.
Holy shit.
I rented a 21-foot U-Haul and we packed it. There was not a single thing that we could put left in there in a 21-foot U-Haul. And, it had guys from the squadron came and helped get everything loaded up, and then we got to drive it right into the village and drop it off where the Afghans are actually like going to pick up the donations. They have like this whole process, which, by the way, they had this area where you did the drop off was at this gymnasium, right? I walked in there, immediate shelter fucking flashback.
Oh, really?
Holy fuck, dude. It could be the way the gym was lit, the fucking how it was divided. It was like
cots all over the floor.
There wasn't cots because this gym was set up specifically for like helping with the clothes and toiletries and shit like that.
But flashback to Sandy and everything we did
because we had that. Remember down next to us where our fucking area that we were responsible for. We had that fucking where all that clothing and shit.
Where everybody came shopping.
Yeah. Oh fuck! It's this, and it's the same kind of stuff. But it was phenomenal. There was between there was three different pickup trucks, including Vickers, who's there in the chat, my car, the steak body, and the U-Haul packed out. I'm just glad that I decided that it was going to be done on Thursday. I still have a few things left to pick up, and I knew people would still drop stuff off because nobody can fucking read. But yeah, it was phenomenal. The people, it got out to a lot of people.
Good. And that's the intent, right?
Yeah. Well, it was supposed to be like a grassroots kind of like, hey, let's get stuff to the crews and things like that, and it kind of turned into this monster.
Yeah.
But it's a good problem to have.
Oh yeah.
So I appreciate everything that people were doing, and I'm still recovering from that. Like, it was 2 days of like doing the loading. The Wednesday night, Kathy and I stayed at the Legion Hall trying to sort and make stuff kind of in logical positions, and went and got boxes and put loose stuff into boxes and things like that. What people were donating there was somebody had donated like probably a dozen different brand new sheet packages. Like, sheets are fucking expensive.
Yeah.
And these weren't like, the Walmart, they were like decent sheets. So even if somebody cleaned out Bed Bath & Beyond on clearance, it's still, that was a significant amount of value.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, it was nice to see people come together for something like that, with 9/11 being on Saturday.
Yeah.
And, having those type of feelings, kind of leaning back on what we did for good, helped me get through the weekend. But yeah, that's all I've been able to do. And now I'm just recovering. Yeah.
Speaking of 9/11, do you feel like kind of as a whole, things were kind of like lower key when it came to this 20th anniversary? I mean, maybe it's because I worked all day and we didn't get to do anything, but like, I feel like in general, it was a fairly low key recognition of,
I think we're the wrong people to ask.
Yeah.
I think I gave a presentation on Thursday night for the lodge, and it was basically like kind of I gave what 9/11 that day was for me, and listened to last week's podcast, and it was pretty much talking about that, and the whole purpose was to kind of generate conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a couple of people that were in the lodge that one of them had a close friend that was a fireman who was fucking retiring. Like, that day, he was on his last shift.
Jesus.
His girlfriend or his fiance was already in Florida in their new house. Like, he was literally fucking leaving New York forever on a plane the next day. And he came off shift, ended up turning right back around and never made it. So, and that guy told that story. And another guy, he's a dentist, and he was, he worked in New York City and was part of a response team to like help in a triage. So he was like in a MASH unit, doing whatever they could, medical backgrounds. They were, had everybody doing everything. So he was right there, a couple blocks from it. So really, really good to talk about. And I think not to dwell on it, because we did do a whole podcast on it, but it's important that those stories get out. And I think what's been happening over the past couple of weeks is opportunities for stories to come out. Like, the NFL did a decent job of it yesterday.
I I would know because I didn't get to watch football.
Right, you mentioned that. I watch football all day. I think, though, I was avoiding a lot of it on Saturday. So I don't know what the response was really like.
Okay.
I did, saying that, if you follow me on Instagram, at Philly Dave, I think it's on the screen, at Philly Dave 75, in Camden County, down at the at Cooper River Park, they did a basically the same as the 9/11 lights, like coming out of the Manhattan.
Yep.
They did the same thing. Obviously not to scale, but
sure,
they had the two lights kind of going up, and it was like right next to the flags. It was actually really nice. And I wasn't sure. I knew it was happening, and I was like, you know what? We drove last night, and we took the dog over there, which wasn't a great idea. But I took a couple pictures, and yeah, it was a nice sentiment. But like I said, I don't know if I'm the right guy to ask, like, how I think the country did with it, because I avoided a lot of it.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
All right. So
that's it. That like I said, my shit was getting pushed in all fucking weekend.
Yeah.
Just trying to recover. So today.
All right. Well, I mean, that being said, I guess we're just ready to hop right into our main topic, right?
There's just given the volume of music. Oh, okay. I'm catching up in the chat real quick, and I saw Hank is the QB. I'm like, wait a minute, like Hank Hill? Like, I used to play quarterback back in the day.
So you were talking the mere volume of music. Might just be a good time to hop right into the main topic, because this could take a while. Is that where you were going?
What you said.
Okay, so let's do this, because we got a lot to get to. This could take a while, so we'll see, depending on how things flow. And we're talking about the music of 1991, which coincidentally is 30 years ago. So everything we're talking about today is celebrating its 30th anniversary, which
decades ago.
Yeah, which some things are going to tie in when we talked about things that we've talked already on the podcast, like Terminator 2, Metallica, Nirvana. Mm-hmm. We've already kind of touched on some of this stuff, but now we're all talking about it in the scope of the actual music of that year. So was that important enough to...
So what just happened was I had this realization suddenly that I threw my Diet Coke cans into the trash can, not into the recycle can.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to remedy that right away. It had to be done right this minute.
Completely derail anything that was going on.
Yeah. It's our thing. It's what we do.
Yep. So we're going
to... I'm recycling. I'm saving the fucking world or something.
Sure you are. So we're going to talk about the music of 91, and we're going to close out with a top 5 list, because as we always do, we finish with our top 5 songs of the year. So I've got a pretty interesting list, and I'm sure you do as well. We also have listener guesses as to what some of the listeners think that we would pick for our number one show.
I think my list is actually really benign. I don't know that my list is very interesting, but we'll get there.
As long as it's not 5 songs from fucking the Black Album, then
I might need a minute.
Jesus. All right. Well, you've got a little while we talk about everything else.
Fair enough. If I seem distracted.
And what I like to do is, normally when we talk about a movie or a specific album or whatever, I like to talk about our experiences the first time we saw it or heard it. This time, I kind of want to just talk about where we were in our lives at this point in 1991, because this was a pretty fucking important year for me personally. And I was in 8th grade going into high school in 1991. So I finished 8th grade in May of 91, June, and started high school that fall. Right. So this was a big transitional period for me, not just for school either, because also my family did a major move. We moved out of the 3-bedroom house that we'd been living in for fucking, I don't know, almost 10 years leading up to that point, into a new, bigger 4-bedroom house, because I went from sharing a room with my brother to having my own room. Woo! So that was a big fucking deal. And because of that, like, we actually, the house we were moving into was still in the process of being built when my parents made all of this plan. Oh, wow. So we sold our old house 2.5 months before the new house was done. So what we had to do was we put all of our shit into storage, and I moved in with my best friend Rob for a month and a half. And my parents and my brother and sister all moved in with my mom's cousin for that time. And then we got a 2-bedroom apartment for a month. And then we moved into our new house. So a lot of shit going on at this time.
Yeah.
And yeah, my life was a fucking madhouse in 1991. But I say some of this stuff because I have very distinct memories. Like when we were moving out of our old house, obviously we had to put all of our shit in storage, but we still lived in the house for a couple of days. I remember specifically saying, I want to keep my stereo.
Right.
Because I had a dual deck cassette player stereo with like some big speakers and like a nice headphone jack, and music was my fucking life at this point. So like almost more than video games to me at this point. And I can remember nights sleeping on the floor in my bedroom because my bed was already gone with my air mattress and my fucking stereo. And that was it. And having headphones in and listening to Color Me Bad on a loop, or listening to a CNC Music Factory. Actually,
Right.
Yeah, it wasn't Color Me Bad. It was CNC Music Factory. And just so many things tied into my music experience.
You were living like a college kid's dorm life at going into high school.
Yeah,
basically,
yeah.
At least for a couple months.
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking great.
Yeah, it was great. And something that I had tried to do leading up to this was to bring up a videotape that me and my friends had recorded in 1991.
Really?
So music was big for me and my circle of friends. And we thought it would be funny when we were having a sleepover at our friend Scott's house to make our own music videos. So this was right after school had started. This was like a month into the new school year. We did our own little music videos on our friend Scott's VHS tape recorder. Videos for Inner Sandman, Color Me Bad's I Adore Me More, and
Wow.
the version of Low Rider that came out in 91. Low Rider is a little flyer. Yeah. So we did our own music videos to those, and I was front and center in a lot of those. And I tried, because I still have that VHS, but I fired up the VHS player that I have in here, and I did a couple of tests first, and it ate the first 2 tapes that I put into it. So I'm like, nope. Because I don't want to lose the fucking tape that I have. Man. So I need to find a better working VHS player.
Or you need to send it like there's conversion services that are actually pretty good.
There's other stuff on there that I wouldn't want anybody else to see. So it's going to have to be done in-house.
That's okay.
Yeah. So we'll just leave it at that.
That's so disturbing.
Yeah.
I don't even.
The only other personal story that I had for this year was my birthday in 91. December of 91 was when I got my very first CD player.
Okay.
Because this was also a time where music media was changing. Up to this point, we were all about the cassette tapes. You know, I told you I had the dual deck cassette player. So I was making mixtapes like a motherfucker, like they were going out of style. And it was all about the cassette tapes, but the CDs were really starting to become prominent. I mean, they'd been out for a few years at that point, but they weren't really affordable up to this time. So it was about 91 when the players and the CDs themselves all became affordable and started to like hit the mass market. And that December is when I got my first CD player.
Huh. That makes me wonder if I got mine around the same time.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So anyway, a lot of life shit going on for me, and a lot of it tied into fucking music. So that being said, what do you got?
Dude, I don't have any of that shit.
No?
We fucking my experience going into 91, it wasn't. This was
because you were a year ahead of me. So you were a freshman going into sophomore year of high school.
I was freshman going into sophomore year, which I put in the fucking notes. I don't know why it's not there. Yeah, it wasn't great. It was I didn't have like music to fall back on. I didn't really have video games to fall back on. It was a lot of kind of, watching my sisters, because I'm significantly older than they are. And, trying to find my way through high school. Like, I was a little nerdy kid. I I had like in school friends, but no real like out of school friends yet. Honestly, the friendships that I started this particular year is what would carry me into, you know, some lifelong friendships after.
Mhm.
But there was a lot. I had a lot of like personal stuff and family stuff going on that just made it challenging. And it would have been great to hide, like, and I'm sure I did. I had my Walkman. I'm pretty sure I had a CD player because my dad was an audiophile, so we had a lot of that stuff early. I know we had a CD player, but it was a lot of making tapes off of like CDs that had come out. So, but it wasn't such a focal point in my life that I can like really pinpoint it. Like, oh, going through a lot of this list, it was like, oh, I remember that song. Oh, I remember that song. It wasn't like something that was so poignant in my life that I like truly remembered that year. And you know, it is what it is. It's not something to dwell on. It's nice to have like, oh, listen to it and have that fucking memory of it. But yeah, I lack the, thank you. I lack the sentiment for a lot of music.
Oh, that's such a shame.
Up until like, as we like, even when we get into 92 and 93, like as I started to like mature a little bit, you know, I had friends that it just made it just started to change.
Okay.
Like this is like the last year that there was still Summer Dave and like School Dave, but Summer Dave actually started to take more of a role in my personality than, you know, after this year.
Yeah. So maybe future years of music might have more of a meaning for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
I was suddenly surprised by the giant bottle of fucking booze in there. Oh, that's going to be good.
You are having all kinds of problems today.
I'm a fucking mess.
So
I got the Lego hands today.
I want to start off this discussion about the music with something pretty important, I think. For the last several months, there's been this meme going around.
Oh yeah.
That it's a pretty cool meme when you think about it.
Yeah.
And it's a picture of a stack of cassette tapes. And it's the Metallica Black Album, the 2 Guns N' Roses Use Your Illusions, the Red Hot Chili Peppers Blood Sugar Sex Magic, Nirvana's Nevermind, Pearl Jam's 10, Soundgarden's Bad Motorfinger. Right. And I think the caption is something like, all of these albums were released within 80 days of each other, or some
4 months, I think.
Yes, it's something to that effect. And you know, it creates this feeling or this perception that is the definitive list of music from 1991, right? And I think people are kind of looking back at history with a little bit of a bias. And don't get the shit twisted, people, because 1991 was not the year of like all of the fucking hard rock, all of the fucking grunge. This is when the seeds were planted for some of this stuff. But even like as we go through it, a lot of these albums, they weren't, you know, the GNR albums were like there on the top 100 Billboard stuff, but Metallica was too. Not like the weekly top 40 or the weekly Billboard 100s. These guys were conspicuously absent. Yeah. So, but anyway, I just want to let the people know, you know, because we've had some chatter in the cantina, in our Discord, and everything else over the last week or so. And, you know, people kind of look back on it like, yeah, I was fucking rocking out to Nirvana in 91. No, you weren't. No, you weren't. In September of 91, when Nevermind came out, nobody outside of the greater Seattle area knew who the fuck Nirvana was. It wasn't until about December, January timeframe, December of 91, January of 92, when the Smells Like Teen Spirit music video came out, and they started to gain some traction. Right. So, again, don't get the shit twisted, people. Like 1991 was not all about like fucking, yeah, it's fucking Nirvana and Pearl Jam, and then we had Metallica and Guns N' Roses. No. You know what the number 1 selling album at the start of 1999 was, or 1991 was? It was Vanilla Ice's To the Extreme for 5 weeks. So
Sounds about right.
that's how we started 1991.
Yeah.
So don't sit there and think that, oh yeah, I was fucking, I was listening to all these guys. No, you weren't. And when we get into some of these specific songs and these people, I hated that song. Bullshit. I call bullshit on a lot of this stuff. Now, granted, there's songs that a lot of us don't like. There's songs that we'll talk about today that I didn't like. I wasn't fond of.
Right.
But to say that you hated every one of these fucking pop and R&B songs and some of these other things that we're going to talk about, you're like, I hated all of that. I was all about the fucking grunge and everything. No, you weren't. You're a fucking liar. I know it. And more importantly, you know it.
Oh, okay.
So I just want to fucking clear the air before we get started because I have some other notable stuff. You know what the top selling album of the entire year was in 1991?
I don't.
It was Mariah Carey's self-titled album.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
If I was going to guess, that would have been my guess.
That came out the previous year. Same with Vanilla Ice. To the Extreme came out in 1990. So this is still something that we're dealing with. And we talked about it when we talked about the music of 91. Music was different back then. Shit spilled over from year to year. It wasn't just like this fast fucking cycle we have of entertainment.
Yeah, because it wasn't readily available. Like you had to get airplay on the radio. You had to there had to be some groundswell. Like accessibility even to live music wasn't as prolific as it is now.
Yeah. And I mean, and it took a long time for that audience to build, especially for new artists like Nirvana and Pearl Jam. They weren't overnight fucking successes. It took time. And you see that reflected when we move into the top selling albums and the top singles of 1992. You'll start to see that. You'll see when that shift happens. But some other notable best-selling albums of 1991. I don't see Nirvana's Nevermind on here, but I do see Paula Abdul's Spellbound. I see Natalie Cole's Unforgettable. You remember that fucking song that they played over and over and over again? And full disclosure, that was a song that I disliked from the very start, never liked it, and really started to hate it after it got played over and fucking over again.
Yeah.
But I fully admit that I did like songs like Color Me Bad's I Want to Sex You Up and songs like that. So again, yeah. Another top-selling album of 1991. Was it Metallica? No, it wasn't Metallica. It wasn't Guns N' Roses. Was it Nirvana? It was Michael Bolton's Time, Love, and Tenderness.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Well, because who had money back then? It wasn't us.
Right.
It wasn't catering to us. It was for fucking adults that were into that. And it was the adults that were into pop, apparently, because albums that, and songs that you would think would be closer to the number ones barely even scratched the surface of it.
Yeah. And, you can see that too. Like, I'm glad you mentioned that because there are songs on here that I never cared for, but I can see the adults of 1991 being, oh, I love that song. Great example. Bonnie Raitt's Give Them Something to Talk About or Something to Talk About.
Oh my God.
You remember that fucking song?
Yeah. I know
song,
that song.
again, I never cared for, but I could totally see the adults or even, the 20-somethings, 30-somethings of 1991 being, oh, yeah, it's a good, catchy song, Bonnie Raitt, another big one. This was when country music was first starting to kind of break its way into mainstream. Garth Brooks's Rope in the Wind was one of the top-selling albums of 1991. And Garth Brooks would be a mainstay in the Billboard charts throughout 91 and into the 90s.
Yeah, because it definitely it had some crossover.
Yeah. Something else that people kind of forget about, Michael Jackson. This was his follow-up to Bad, was 1991's Dangerous. I think we hadn't seen an album from him in 4 years, something like that. When did Bad come out? Jamie, look that up.
I don't fucking know.
Yeah, but I mean, Dangerous
88.
was big. It had, Black or White, a couple other songs.
Matter if you're black or white.
And honestly, the best part about Black or White was the In Living Color parody.
Yeah.
Can you tell me if I'm black or white? Am I black or white? Can you tell me? We don't know. But yeah, no, that was another big album. It was, granted, it was when he kind of started to decline in popularity, but this was his last big album before the decline really started to come. So again, I just wanted to bring some of that up. And we've also got some top singles of 1991 that I'd like to talk about that, I don't see Smells Like Teen Spirit or Outshined or any of that in these singles. But you know what I do see in some of these singles? The top selling single of 1991. You know what that is?
Is it Mariah Carey?
No, it was Bryan Adams' Everything I Do It For You.
No, it's true.
Yeah, that was the #1 single.
Anything I do.
And you know what? I fucking loved it at the time.
Oh.
And almost anybody who had a pulse in 1991 also liked that song at one point.
For you.
From the soundtrack to Robin Hood of all things, right? The Kevin Costner Robin Hood with Alan Rickman as the bad guy.
Yeah. And honestly, that's probably the best. I get on the fence with that Robin Hood a bit, just because Kevin Costner is not the guy to do that. I think there was a lot of other good elements to that. What's Her Nuts is Maid Marian.
Mary Stuart Masterson she was the actress in that. But Alan Rickman was the main bad guy, which he never does anything bad.
Fucking Alan Rickman, man.
But of course, that was the start of studios thinking that Kevin Costner's money in these big budget movies. That's when you get movies like Waterworld and The Postman and stuff like that. So that all stemmed from this fucking movie. But
when did Field of Dreams come out?
Field of Dreams was not big like this. It also was not a big budget movie. It was a good movie, don't get me wrong, but that was like 89, something like that. Yeah. But I mean, this was a fairly big thing at the time. So
how many fucking remakes of Robin Hood?
Oh Christ.
Are we getting ready to have another one out?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's an IP they can just keep rehashing every few years. Some other notable singles I've already. All right, let me talk about this one single, and then we'll take a break. Color Me Bad's I Want to Sex You Up.
I want to sex you up.
To me, 2 songs defined the summer of 1991.
Oh no.
Color Me Bad's I Want to Sex You Up and Paula Abdul's Rush Rush. Those 2 were like the songs of the summer of fucking 91. And the Guns N' Roses, You Could Be Mine too, as we were building up towards Terminator 2, which we've already talked about here on the show.
Right.
So
Rush. It's
anyway. We're gonna get to that because Kristen and I had a long Paula Abdul discussion earlier today, but Dave really has to pee, so we're gonna take a very quick break.
What, really?
And be right back after this word from our sponsors. Yeah. It hurts. That happened very quickly from the time where we moved on from our weeks into the main topic, and nobody had to pee. Nobody had to take a break. Then all of a sudden, Dave's like, "Oh shit, I really got to pee." So I'm only on my second short glass of Long Island iced tea. I'm pacing myself. I feel like I'm like going too fast too. So need to kind of slow this down and start talking conversation. Kind of get some back and forth going on. I feel like Dave's just sitting there listening to me this whole time. Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio. Yes. There were like 3 actresses around that time that all sounded the same. Mary Stuart Masterson, Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio, and then somebody else.
That was weird.
Pea blood or something?
That would be weird, but no, it sounded like gunfire up there.
Yeah.
Like legit sounded like gunfire.
Which direction was it coming from?
About that way.
The other side of the railroad tracks over there is kind of the ghetto. So,
anyway.
Yeah, wouldn't be surprised. All right. Feel better?
I do, thank God.
All right, good. Well, I don't think I need a break yet, so we can just carry on. Wayward Son.
There will be peace when you were done.
Yeah.
Are we doing 30 seconds?
Well, yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, you said
that's how we do it every time.
You should like carry on our Wayward Son. I'm like, okay, I guess that means something.
And we're back. So,
Don't understand what happened in the chat there.
oh, I have no idea. All right, I feel like I'm going a little fast here through a lot of these notes, so let's kind of slow it down. The point I was trying to drive home with that was just, again, don't delude yourself with what we were really listening to music-wise back in 1991.
Did you think you did not express that point?
Well, okay. Well, I'm just reiterating. That's
you may or may not have put a little more energy into that than I think you realized.
Okay, but I'm very passionate about this.
Apparently.
Right. So from this point, I think we should kind of look at some of the top albums first and then kind of go through some of the top singles of the year. Talk about anything that we may have memories or thoughts about and kind of move on from there. So we already talked about Vanilla Ice's To the Extreme and Mariah Carey's debut albums.
Right.
They were carryovers from 1990, very, very popular. Mariah Carey released a shitload of singles. Basically, she was releasing music from 1990 through like 1998 kind of thing. So we also had REM's Out of Time, which I'm trying to remember which songs were on that one. Was that the Shiny Happy? No, that was no. Fuck.
No, I don't think it was Shiny Happy.
No, that was the other people. Or no. God damn it. Losing My Religion. That's the song.
Yeah.
Oh, it did have Shiny Happy People on it. Okay.
Radio Song was the big one on there.
Which I was not a big REM person at this point.
So they're from the Philly area.
Oh, are they?
That band, yeah.
I did not realize
out
that.
of like Langhorne, I think, somewhere around there. So they got some play locally before they kind of like pushed this album out. So it was like, I don't know. I like a lot of this stuff, like I kind of alluding to before, like I didn't have one particular passion for anything, like, but I know all these songs. So obviously at some point it got in there. Not 100% sure how, but they occupy penguins in my otherwise fucking shrinking iceberg.
Yeah. So for me, I remember, and again, I've stressed this before, a lot of my music exposure came from music videos because in addition to owning music cassettes and CDs, I got a lot of my music from MTV. Right. And I remember the videos for these REM songs, Shiny Happy People and Losing My Religion, and I just was not a fan. I really hated Shiny Happy People. I'm like, why am I listening to this?
I know why you didn't like it.
It was too upbeat.
Or wasn't one of those people in that song also into B-52s?
Yes, which fuck the B-52s.
Yeah, that's why.
Was that the redheaded chick? The redheaded chick with the big tits.
Yeah. That's why you didn't like it.
Yeah, she
because it
sang
had
on
somebody
that.
from the B-52s.
That's
what is wrong with like that is such a weird thing to like have that much angst for.
I did not like them. In fact, I despise them for some reason.
It's like
see, again, you're allowed to not like things, but don't pretend like you disliked everything that was like mainstream pop or whatever.
I didn't have any issue with the B-52s. What I find humorous is how much you don't like them. It's fucking great.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
The fact that she sings in that particular REM song, and that's the song that you chose not to like.
Yeah, well,
it's nothing to do with being upbeat.
Losing My Religion too, like it never struck a chord with me. Like I get it. I get kind of what he was trying to say with the song, but it's just
listening to words. Were you listening to the words of songs? Probably. This is why you have this emotional attachment to the music, because you were listening to the music. It wasn't just background,
right?
Like it was for me.
No, and that's the thing. When it comes to music that I like, I super analyze it. I'll listen to all of the lyrics and I'll try to figure out the background meaning of all of it. Sidebar. Okay. This is the drugs conversation I wanted to have. So Kristen and I today, as I'm driving to my appointment, we're listening to like a 1991 playlist, right? We're trying to kind of get into the flow and everything. Right. And a Whitney Houston song came on. What was the name of the song? It was something about like the man I love.
Sing it for me.
They're
all about that. What do you?
Well, hold on. It was one of the top singles of the year. Hold on. Whitney. All the Man I Need, right? And as kind of a joke, I'm telling Kristen, I'm like, the song's actually about her dealer. right? She's like, "You're all the man I need. You
Right.
fill me up like nothing else." I'm like, it's about her drug dealer, you know, and her coke dealer.
What if it was?
And it could be. It very well could be. So then it became like a running joke. Every time a song came on that was like about like the person I love or the thing I love, I'm
Right.
like, that's also about drugs.
Yeah.
That's
It's
about cocaine.
It's obviously about the drug dealer.
And then as I'm listening to it, I'm like, my God, you could replace love in most of these songs with some kind of drug reference and it would make total sense. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm sure I'm right on half of this stuff. So
yeah, I can't dispute anything that you just said.
Yeah. Janet Jackson's Love Will Never Do Without You. And what are you? Cocaine. So
good vibrations.
Yeah. No, you could, I mean, you could
good vibration. That's actually, that could really
Yeah. What's giving you a good vibration? Is it that heroin needle that's in your arm? Is that it maybe?
Marky Mark did not do heroin.
I'm just saying.
Marky Mark would never do that to his body. His body was a temple.
That's true. Maybe it was steroids then.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Different needle.
Which
in the toes.
So you are big into music videos. Speaking of the good vibrations, do you remember the music video to that where he's curling like fucking cinder blocks?
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Like, I'm going to be in a video and I'm going to fucking show that this guy works out.
Yeah.
And he does. It's such a good vibration. It's hard to believe that Mark Wahlberg started as Marky Mark and then turned into a guy that's like fucking acting in a movie with fucking Mila Kunis, right?
What movie were they in together?
Me and Ted together? Mila Kunis
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see. When I think of him as an actor, I think of like The Departed, like some serious shit. Like he had a pretty good role in that movie.
I'm serious. Who wants to watch serious shit?
Yeah. So I spoke a little bit about Paula Abdul earlier. Her this was technically her second album, though. Kristen and I had this big Paula Abdul conversation today. You know, she had her initial album that had like the Opposites Attract,
2 steps forward,
Cold Hearted Snake, right? Then she released a dance mix album, which was just remixes of all of her fucking first CD songs. And I remember a lot of people having a big issue with that. I knew somebody who had the album. They're like, oh, this is fucking garbage. It's just shitty remixes of all of her songs. So Spellbound was her like first real follow-up to that initial success she had. And it was a very successful album. It topped the charts for a few weeks in early 91. Like I said, that the song Rush Rush was seriously like the fucking song of 91. And you remember the music video to that with her and Keanu Reeves, where
that was Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, where they basically the video was a retelling of the Rebel Without a Cause movie, the old James Dean movie, and it was a good fucking video. And it was again so fucking huge at the time. Like you have no idea that this was fucking everywhere.
I'm like, my mind is blown right now.
You didn't realize that was Keanu Reeves?
I
posted a link to the video in the cantina earlier today, but clearly you didn't watch it.
I was working, not at an appointment all fucking day.
I was at an appointment. Fuck you.
All day, Jason?
For a good part of the day.
All day, Jason.
A very decent percentage of the day. Yes. Or commuting to and from that place, because it wasn't like right here in Cherry Hill.
Jeez.
So anyway, the Rush Rush, the video for Rush Rush with Keanu, fucking huge at the time. And she had several hits from that afterwards. She had Promise of a New Day, which the best thing I remember about that song, you're not helping, Kristen. The song Promise of a New Day and the video from that, the thing I remember the most from that was the In Living Color parody that came afterwards. You got to remember, In Living Color was the shit at this point. Later on in the year, we get parodies of Michael Jackson's Black or White, you know, which I mentioned that album released later on this year. And in Living Color, they did a parody of Paula Abdul's Promise of a New Day and called it Promise of a Thin Me, because the thing with that video is they like stretched it to like make her look thin in the video, and they basically just ran with that in Living Color.
And you know what? I don't know. I think people got on Paula Abdul for shit like that, you know, because let's face it, she had a drinking problem. But I didn't. She's still super, super cute, though.
Oh yeah, especially at this point in time.
Yeah, I mean, it was like,
you go back and watch that Rush video. She was fucking hot in that.
Yeah.
You go back and watch Promise of a New Day. I didn't realize until I saw that video she had massive fucking tits.
Yeah.
So yeah, but you never really got to see that beforehand. So you know this year and this album brought out the sexy in Paula Abdul. But the funny thing is she didn't follow up with this for fucking years. And at that point, she had already kind of fallen, you know, off the radar. And we didn't see her again until American Idol. But at this...
Yeah, Rick. Oh, you know, I missed opportunity. Missed out to party at American Idol.
Oh, it's pretty good. We had a very brief appearance by NWA because... rap and hip hop hadn't really kind of come into prominence yet into the mainstream. It was still kind of a fringe thing, but you know, NWA's In Words for Life album actually made number one in June.
I was wondering if you were gonna fucking go for it.
Well, and the beauty of this album, like I love some of the tracks in this fucking album because I remember this album, and one of the tracks is To Kill a Hooker.
Nice.
And the next track after that is One Less Bitch. So, you know, they were
NWA doing NWA things.
Yeah. And I mean, this was pretty much close to the end before they split up and Dre went off and did his own thing. Eazy-E went off and but yeah, the In Words for Life album actually hit number one for a brief period of time in June of 91. Skid Row's Slave to the Grind. You remember Skid Row?
Ugh.
Monkey Business, the song, perhaps? No, nothing.
No. Oh yeah, I know Monkey Business.
Yeah.
Anyway,
all right, so we'll just breeze over that one then. Van Halen's For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge. I think this is something that's kind of been buried in everything going on in 91. You got to remember, and we've already done a Van Halen episode. We've talked a lot of this to death, but this was pretty fucking big at the time, too.
This was a big album release.
They'd already been with Hagar for a little while, but I think this was their first really good Hagar album.
This was the Hagar album that they kicked off that tour. That was probably one of their biggest tours, I think, is off of this fucking album.
Yeah.
And I remember distinctly because, you know, obviously we talked about a Van Halen episode. You know, I'm into Van Halen. And there was a couple of guys in school that actually got their parents had fucking taken them to see Van Halen in the show because they played in Philly.
Yeah.
Like, fuck. I would have loved to have gone to that show because there's some tracks off of this that are like really, really good Van Halen. For the Sammy Hagar stuff, this is probably the best stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He does.
Yeah, because this, I mean, we had Pound Cake on this one. We had Right Now, which got played to fucking death that year.
Yep.
And probably the year after as well. So yeah, this was pretty fucking big. So, you know, before Metallica dropped their album, before Guns N' Roses dropped their album.
Yeah. Honestly, this album to me should be in that stack that, you know, we're talking about in that meme.
Yeah.
Because it's a big album. Now, granted, it's not career altering like the Black Album was for Metallica.
Right.
Or, you know, Nirvana and Pearl Jam, obviously. But like the Chili Peppers, that wasn't their first album.
No, they've been around for a while. It was,
it's the probably their best one.
Yeah, and it was their breakout as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge was huge for Van Halen. It's what kept them relevant.
Yeah, for sure.
For the next few years. And yeah, again, probably their best outing with Sammy Hagar. So I think that gets forgotten when you think about the music of 91.
Yeah, DJ Red Ford talks about Pound Cake with the drill on the guitar.
Oh yeah.
That's a great song.
That's brilliant, and that's Eddie Van Halen, man.
Yep.
Yeah, God rest his soul. He was a fucking musical genius, like not one we'll see again for a long time.
This is DJ Red 4 brings up the Columbia House, which honestly,
so we're going to talk about that in the music of 92.
I agree,
because like I said, I got my CD player in 91, and it wasn't long after that where I started getting like the BMG / Columbia House.
Yeah. That for me,
leaflets
that
and
may or may
everything.
not have started like the end of the fall of 92 into
Right,
93.
right.
So
But yeah, that was a mainstay for me for many, many years after. But I think that didn't start until around 92 for me.
I think all of us that are probably listening to this right now, there's probably some wanted posters with our faces on them for fucking
Yeah.
some Columbia
You
House
didn't buy
bullshit.
our 6 CDs from us. And
because I didn't have a job.
yeah. So
Anyway.
we talked about how a lot of the music of this time, obviously wasn't targeted for us, though I think we were part of that core audience that a lot of popular music was targeting at that time.
Yeah,
but
high schoolers, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, but there was some obviously that hit that contemporary adult demographic. We talked about Michael Bolton already. A big one was there we go. All right. Hopefully everybody can still hear us. I don't know what the fuck that was.
I don't either. That was fucking great though. You're
Yeah.
like, nope, it can't be on the
see me. I can't see you in there.
Right. Well, I think we'd have to move that back. All right. We're online with our backup.
Yeah. Can you hear us? Both of us.
Yes. If you can hear us, say something.
Something.
Say something while we're waiting.
Yeah.
You hear Jason.
Yes. No Dave?
How would that be possible?
Yeah. Reclip your thing and do, just in case.
I think we'd have to recess that back further to get both of us in there.
I mean, if you want to do that, go for it. Okay, so they can hear us both. Jesus Christ. I'm watching that on a delay. It's pretty funny.
Dude, this is like old school, man.
I know, right? Single camera shot.
Yep.
So, all right. So everybody can hear us, right?
A little more stage left. Nope, this is it. We're not adjusting the camera anymore.
Like this is about as good as it's going to get. So
I want to watch this back on the YouTube footage just to see this, like the shenanigans.
Oh, God damn.
Point right at the.
You know what?
Fuck your Tom Brady pop. What do you think of that? 69 it would lay over here.
I mean, that's not really the worst place in the world you can be.
Well, that's fair, but
all right. So I have no visibility on anything. I guess I'll keep YouTube up in my on my phone here.
Okay.
But yeah, so I'm not going to have any visibility like I would with the StreamYard. Sorry about that, everybody. Fucking
yeah,
this desktop just like straight up crashed on me.
Yeah,
like,
it completely shit the bed. It was like fucking like, oh yeah, sorry, don't pass go. You're fucked.
So all right, are we ready to resume? If we are, let's do another 30-second countdown just for kind of clarity's sake and for me when I do my editing and everything.
All right.
It's easier to find the shit.
Here we go.
And we're back.
I let it go like 5 seconds just because.
So sorry about that, everybody. Technical difficulties. Literally had a desktop computer just crash on us mid-show. So
yeah, that was fucking crazy.
This is going to make for some interesting editing, and I can guarantee you the audio version is going to be late now. So
sad face.
Sad face indeed. All right, so we were talking about some of the top albums of the year. The last one that I kind of stopped on was the Natalie Cole's Unforgettable, because again, there was an adult audience out there that was listening to music, and I guarantee you that was the target audience for that fucking album and song, because that was fucking everywhere for the longest time. It got played so much, I didn't care for it whatsoever.
Right.
So I don't know how you felt about it, but
no, it was. I don't know. It was those of you who had no idea who Natalie Cole was, and then look, Nat King Cole. Okay, got it. Cool.
Yeah.
Next.
Right.
Your wife says that you should buy a new computer.
Sure.
And then she says we both should.
Yeah. She's been wanting a new Mac for a while, but
there you go. See, now you have reasons.
Indeed, we do. So I'm just trying to get settled here. So after Unforgettable,
right?
Finally, August of '91, we get some light at the end of that proverbial tunnel. when Metallica releases the Black Album, which last week I think was the official 30th anniversary, September 6th.
Was it the 6th? Yeah, because that's when they released the album. So yeah, that makes sense.
And I mean, this was big. So we talked about this when we talked about Metallica, but just to rehash it, like I knew of Metallica. I always saw kids at school sometimes with Metallica shirts. I knew they were a metal band that existed, but my first exposure to them was the video for One,
right?
That you'd see pop up every once in a while. But
my
even then,
all-time favorite
Metallica
song.
But even then, it wasn't like mainstream kind of thing. It was, I'd see it sporadically, but this Black Album is what really brought them into the mainstream, and to some fans' estimation, to their detriment. But it really depends on your point of view.
Yeah. Well, that's very in the eye of the beholder type thing, right? Because a lot of people would not know who Metallica was if they didn't release Black Album.
Yeah, exactly.
In fact is, at this point, the vast majority of them would have no idea.
Yeah. And that all kicked off with Enter Sandman. Between the video, the amount of radio play that song got, it was fucking huge, and it was everywhere, and it reflected in album sales. They were the top selling album for over a month before Guns N' Roses released the Use Your Illusion albums, the long awaited Use Your Illusion 1 and 2, which was fucking unprecedented at that time, which, by the way, we got it right here. Very few artists have ever done this, where they release basically 2 full-length albums simultaneously.
Right.
And I think there was a trend where a couple of people tried to do that afterwards, and it wasn't really very successful. Guns N' Roses, they were at a very unique point in their career, where they had released Appetite of Destruction, or Appetite for Destruction, a few years earlier. Massive fucking debut for them. And there was a bit of a lull. They released their Lies EP, but they had like kind of built a real big presence, very much like Metallica, as like a road band, a band you want to see live. They put on a great fucking live show, and they built up a following over the years. And this follow-up was massively fucking anticipated, and they gave you that little just pre-cum with the Terminator 2,
little
with
pre-Swede,
with the You Could Be Mine, right? So we saw that in like late June, early July of 91 with that song, and I think they released it as a single too, but the albums were still a couple of months away. They came out in October of that year, so like these were fucking huge. And this kind of goes back to what we were saying earlier about albums having longevity back then. Singles from these 2 fucking albums were released up until like 95. They were making new music videos and releasing new singles for Use Your Illusions 1 and 2 for years.
That makes sense.
After this,
it makes sense, right? Because everything was based on album sales. So
yeah,
the longer you can make this album relevant, the more money you were going to make.
And later on, when we get talking about music of 92 and 93, they did the big tour with Metallica, the combined Guns N' Roses Metallica tour, which I saw one of the last shows of that fucking tour in Pasadena in the Rose Bowl, which was a life-changing experience. But this was just the start of this fucking massive explosion. So you combine this with the Metallica Black Album, things were really starting to change, from fucking Natalie Cole and Garth Brooks's Rope in the Wind,
So I'm going to say this, and you've said some fairly inflammatory things in the past about about not hearing things or not enjoying certain music or whatever.
Sure.
I'm not a Guns N' Roses fan.
I've kind of gathered that. I know you've been
and listening, like preparing for this episode and listening to like these albums in particular, right? If anything, I hate the sound of Axl Rose's voice. Like it literally grates on me now to a point where I'm uncomfortable.
Really?
Like I just like I don't want to. Like November Rain is a perfect one, right? Because it's the song that goes on for fucking ever, right?
Yeah.
But it's same thing with the video. It just, his voice is like, it's the same voice nonstop, and it's like, okay, And it's obviously, you know what I think it is? I think it's because his current iteration of his voice is so bad.
Well, yeah.
Right? People that go to the fucking shows, they're trying to tour, right? Which is a shame because like Slash is an amazing artist.
Yeah.
Right. There's a lot of really good fucking, Duff McKagan, does he still fucking
he was one of the guys that left the group when they broke up.
Right.
Him and Slash both came back.
Yeah. So there's good musicians as part of that group. But Axl Rose is fucking terrible.
Yeah.
It's fucking terrible. I feel like I should see him in a fucking diner somewhere sitting by himself, fucking talking to himself.
Yeah.
Like I just don't like it.
Well, and I think we can have a whole individual conversation or episode about Guns N' Roses and kind of break down all the fucking shit that they did and went through. And yeah, the things like kind of Axl going a bit tone deaf.
Yeah,
I guess over the years, but you cannot.
Well, and then the way they treated fucking after the incident on stage with Metallica.
Oh yeah, no, that was a whole big thing, and again, that can be its own episode. But you can't deny that after this point, after releasing these two albums, that they weren't the biggest fucking band in the world at this point for at least the next year or two. I think Dave has dropped more ice on the floor than he's put in his glass.
Quiet over there. And I'm not drinking, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm not. This is just straight Diet Coke.
Yeah.
And I'm a fucking mess.
But you can't deny that at this point they were the biggest fucking band in the world.
Oh, I can
period.
Deny. I can't deny, honestly. That's not my camera anymore. That's the camera. Okay.
Yeah.
Camera
now, something kind of mixed in with all this as we transitioned from Guns N' Roses to Michael Jackson's Dangerous. There was one album in there that topped the charts for a week that I'm sure you have a little bit of love for.
That wasn't NWA?
Yeah, it was U2's Achtung Baby. That contained songs like Mysterious Ways, One, which was a pretty big song of theirs.
So I'll be honest with you, when I was making my top 5 list, U2 came on and off that top 5 list because of this album.
Right. But I know
several times
you've been a YouTube
Oh
fan.
yeah, it's a great album. I love almost all the songs on that album. So yeah, it's relevant too, right? Because that was U2 had been out for a while. So yeah.
All right.
I got nothing else for that. Sorry.
All right.
The notes aren't up here anymore. Like it seems darker in here.
It does seem darker.
It's like because you don't have screen glare happening over there.
Yeah, no, it's very distracting. But we're gonna try to push through.
There will be no hugs, motherfuckers.
I've got some other singles that I want to talk about before we start getting into the whole grunge discussion.
Okay. There's more grunge discussion?
Well,
okay.
I mean, I guess to kind of finish it off before we get into our top 5. Some other notable singles. We talked about CNC Music Factory. They were big this year. Gonna make you sweat.
Yep.
Things that make you go,
Things that make you go,
Kristen and I were listening to that in the car. When it first came on, I knew what it was, and I'm like, ugh. But then we listened to the song and listened to all the lyrics of each verse, and we're like, okay, that was actually a pretty fun song. That was very catchy. Like, some of the lyrics were actually pretty smart. It was a lot of relationship talk and
underrated group, honestly.
Yeah,
because we'll talk more about them. I guarantee you, we're going to talk more about them later.
Okay, you talk about popular songs that I despised because everybody dislikes some songs. There was a little band named Extreme that came out.
More Than Words?
More Than Words. I hated that song back in the day. I don't know what it was. For a guy who loved Guns N' Roses, Metallica, a lot of the hair bands, Extreme, no, couldn't do it.
Well, you like Tesla, though, right?
I did like Tesla.
Signs
everywhere.
Because that came out this year, too, right?
No, that was last year, right? That was 90.
That
was 90 because I'm pretty sure that was in my top 5 list for the 90s.
It might have been. That's why I remember it.
Yeah.
It strikes me as the same type of fucking song.
It is, but for some reason I just didn't like More Than Words.
Just like, all right,
Dave's got a little one.
Like it makes my hands look massive.
When Kristen and I were driving,
that's what she said.
Kristen and I were driving today. A song that came on during the playlist was the Damn Yankees High Enough. Can you take me high?
Wow.
I can't hit that that high note. But you know what I'm talking about?
I do.
Ted Nugent's band, the Damn Yankees. Again, one that I wasn't that fond of. This was a song that was I was just kind of neutral on. I'm just like,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
But I had some friends that really loved this song though. They loved Damn Yankees. They were big Ted Nugent. I was from Bakersfield, so
Fair enough.
very rednecky town.
Just so weird. It's so weird that dichotomy.
Yeah, more of the adult contemporary stuff. Bette Midler's "From a Distance" was a big song that year, which
That was in a
from
movie.
a distance
Wasn't that in a movie?
probably. But again,
I remember
do
that
I
song.
give any more or less of a shit because it was in a movie? No, I don't. Because Bette Midler was not what 1991 Jason was rocking to.
Yeah, but that was something that 1991 Dave had to hear in the house because I think my mother was into that.
Oh, yeah. And that's the funny thing too, because I know when my mom was younger, she really liked music. She had a whole cassette collection from like 70s and 60s rock and stuff, a lot of shit that I had never heard of. But she never listened to music as far as I knew at that time. She listened to country music, like country music radio.
Right.
But
Do you think she was doing it like behind your back?
maybe.
Like maybe she had all this great music behind your back and just didn't want you to know?
That could be. But like anything that was not country music, she had like no visibility on, or at least she acted like she didn't know it, didn't listen to it, didn't care for it. So, right, considering she was like in her fucking 20s, like early 30s at the time, like 10 years younger than I am now or more, which is kind of funny to think about. She was 17 when I was born, so I was like 14, 15. So yeah, she was like her early 30s at this point. So you'd think she'd be still a little bit plugged into modern music, but no.
She was a mom making money.
That is true. Yeah, she was working a lot too at that time. We talked about Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. Such a good vibration.
Such a sweet sensation.
Yeah.
All right. So what's more disturbing?
Mhm.
The fact that I knew that the Bette Midler song was in a movie, or the fact that Don knew what movie it was.
What was the movie? Oh, Beaches.
Yeah.
That's right. Never saw it. Chick flick.
I'm sure it was on in the house. I'm sure it was a rental at one point.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But yeah, that screams chick flick.
From a distance.
Nothing that Jason really gave a shit about.
From a distance.
It's
a good vibration.
I forget that Lenny Kravitz was, a thing all the way back in 91. His song "It Ain't Over Till It's Over," which he made about what's her name from fucking
Sheryl Crow. No.
Was
he with Sheryl Crow?
No.
That was fucking Lance Armstrong.
Yeah, no, the chick.
You get those confused.
Lenny Kravitz, Lance Armstrong.
Yeah,
they're practically the same person.
Jesus Christ, Dave.
No, the chick from the Cosby Show. Oh fuck, what was her name?
Rapey McRaperson?
Chick, not main star of the Cosby Show.
Sorry.
The daughter, his oldest daughter.
I don't fucking shit. It was Lisa
Bonet. Lisa Bonet. Thank you.
God damn.
Yeah. Dude. He wrote that song about her because they had already like been married and divorced at that point. And he was like still trying to get her back. But anyway.
How'd that work out for you, Lenny?
Apparently not. But they created a very hot daughter who looks exactly like her mother, by the way. She plays Catwoman in the Batman that comes out next year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Zoe Kravitz is her name. It's very, very sexy. DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince's "Summertime." You remember that song?
Summertime.
Another song that basically defines that summer of '91.
Time to sit back and unwind.
And it's you listen to the lyrics of the song and it's like going to fucking barbecues and fucking washing your car and
talking about like what sneakers you're wearing. Yeah, totally.
That was the perfect song for the fucking summer of '91.
So what's funny in that video, right? They're talking about shit. I got to play the song in my head to get to the thing, but the spot that they're talking about is actually a really, really cool spot.
Well, yeah, because he's from Philly.
Yeah,
he's from this area, and you are probably familiar with.
Yes, if you're in the Philly area and you have a chance, like a place called the Plateau is where everybody goes. Like if you go up there, It's got a great. It's like this huge open like grassy area, and it's a great view of the city. And it's like we're used to seeing the city from like this side of it, but you're talking about being on the other side of the city, kind of looking at it.
Because he's from West Philadelphia,
Right.
born
and raised
on the playground where he spent most of his days.
Right.
But that was a great song. I'm skipping over some because they may or may not be in my top 5 list or honorable mentions. But sorry, Wilson Phillips was still going strong, even though they had made their debut the year before. We talked about them.
Yeah.
The You're in Love song was big this year. The Impulsive. Wanna be impulsive, breathless. Which I wasn't a big fan of the first Wilson Phillips album. I like their second album myself, but we'll get into that if we talk about like the songs of
I
93.
did not recognize that song you
No?
sung at all.
Well, I didn't sing it very good. So
well, I mean, that could be said for anything that we sing.
Take that with a grain of salt. Here's a song that I know you've got to remember, and I know most people have to remember. The Divinals. I love myself. I want you to love me. When I feel down, I want you above me.
Oh my God.
I don't want anybody else. When I think about you, I touch myself. Which, by the way, in interviews, they claim that song was not about masturbation at all.
Shut up.
Yeah.
What is it about? What else? Like, I touch myself. Oh God. Oh.
Which, by the way, the woman, the lead singer, she's no longer with us these days. She died a few years ago of cancer.
Great. That's fucking great, Jason. Why did you bring that up?
Just, I don't know. It's
fuck cancer.
Little nuggets of information that I know.
Your penguins are drunk, dude.
Indeed, they are. I'm just looking for any other notable singles that we might want to talk about.
That's not the song you guys should duet, by the way. That's coming from your way.
Okay, here's a song, and I don't know if this is a spillover from the year before, but this was a song that charted. Refresh my memory, and maybe Jamie can look this up. Did we talk about Chris Isaak's Wicked Game in 1990? Okay, yes, because it's in the top singles of fucking 91 also.
Yeah.
Because they played it all the fucking time.
Yep.
And every fucking woman creamed their fucking pants every time it came on. Fuck that song. Yes, exactly. Jesus Jones, this was the year that they debuted.
Yeah.
Right here, right now.
That was, so looking through the lists and kind of trying to go over songs that might kick off a memory or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is one of those songs that like, oh, okay, yeah, these guys weren't bad.
Yeah.
Like, I remember that it being not like a song I was like dying to get the fucking album for or anything else. But it was like, oh, when it came on the radio, I didn't fucking hate it.
It's catchy, it's whatever.
Yeah.
So, and that's some of the shit that you forget about. And that's some of the shit that when a kid today goes back and listens to like an oldies, like a 90s station or something.
Shut your mouth.
They'll probably never hear because of songs like those probably don't make like regular airplay. It's going to be the more mainstream stuff.
It's funny you say that. So if you have Sirius XM, right? There's a 90s on 9 station that just plays 90s music.
Yeah.
And that's probably the only time you're ever going to hear something like that played on like a major outlet.
Yeah.
Otherwise you're going to have to search and try and really find them to listen to them. Or you're going to come across somebody's old fucking CD folder and or a mixed album.
Yeah. So
Jesus Jones.
Do we need to
take a break so I can pee?
Do we?
Yes.
All right, do it. All right. While you're out there, I'm going to talk some more singles with the audience here.
Do your thing.
I am. Some other notable songs that you may or may not remember. Amy Grant's "Baby, Baby, Baby, Baby." I think that's Dave's number 1, by the way. We'll see. Mariah Carey, "Someday." This was again from her first album that spilled over into the next year. "Someday" was actually when I started becoming a huge Mariah Carey fan. Like, I was familiar with "Love Takes Time" and "Vision of Love." They weren't my favorite songs. It wasn't until "Someday" when I'm like, okay, I'm all in now. Reactor. REM, "Shiny Happy People." Ugh, fuck that song. Rod Stewart's The Motown Song, another song I fucking hated. That was the bring over some old Motown music, turn the lights up and we'll go on the roof and listen to the miracles playing to the alley down below. Hated that song. And that video was on all the fucking time on MTV.
Bring over some of your old Motown records.
Yeah. So
Put the speakers in the windows.
thank you. Dave sings it far more better than I do. All right, let me pour another drink and then we'll get back to it.
The alley down below. Who sung that?
Rod Stewart.
Ah,
Do you remember hearing all of the rumors about him getting like jizz pumped out of his stomach and everything in the
yeah,
80s and 90s?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of like an old
yeah. That's
an old urban legend.
well, yeah. That was like back in the school days where you could like make fun of each other for being gay or
Yeah.
call each other fags, and it was like that just was normal.
Yeah.
As opposed to being fucking a death warrant now.
All right, well, whenever you're ready, give me a countdown and let me know when the countdown is over this time. And we're back. Can you take it off?
Yeah.
Are we okay?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, we're
Dave.
good. I clicked the countdown
This
again.
this whole night is a shit show. This was gonna be like the best episode, and it's quickly.
It may
turning
be
into-
entertaining. I mean, you
Maybe
don't know.
we'll see. So, all right, we talked the Guns N' Roses and Metallica quite a bit. Do you have anything else to add, especially when it comes to like the release of those albums and the pushing of Metallica and Guns N' Roses into like the upper mainstream to where they're like the biggest fucking things in the world?
Yeah, I mean, we talked a lot about Metallica. Obviously, we did a whole episode on it, and no, I don't have anything else.
Okay, so
those bands.
We talked about the grunge stuff. We talked about the Chili Peppers, Blood Sugar Sex Magic. Well, actually, we didn't talk that much about it, but this was a big album of this fucking year. This was the one that had Give It Away on it. It had Under the Bridge, which was a big fucking hit. Honestly, if we put this fucking CD on right now, I could probably recite like the words from most of those fucking songs.
This was a CD that I got from a Columbia House thing.
Oh yeah, of
later
course.
in life. And track 3, yeah, I always remember track 3, Breaking the Girl. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
That's my
Breaking
favorite
the
Chili
Girl.
Pepper song. Period.
Yeah. So they were kind of a thing already, but then we talk about
Do you know who doesn't like Red Hot Chili Peppers?
Kristen.
Also Nick.
Oh really?
I think wasn't he in here?
Probably.
And we said,
I mean,
did I make that up?
He has been a guest. I know Kristen fucking despises them. So
Pretty sure Nick does too.
I
And if
wouldn't
he
be
doesn't, go to Sweet Studios and find out.
Yeah, but we also obviously we had Nirvana's Nevermind release in September of '91. But like I said before, when I was kind of railing on the people, just go back and listen.
Yeah,
legitimately, when this album was released, their label was not expecting anything. They're like, if we sell 30,000 copies, we'll be happy, right? And it wasn't until they decided to make that music video, which I think came out like mid-December of 1991, started building a little bit of traction on MTV. And then by January, that's when Nirvana became popular. So yes, technically Nevermind came out in 91, but 92 was when it really came into prominence and Nirvana became a household name. So the same thing can be said about Pearl Jam's 10, which was released on the same day, I think. Or Soundgarden's Bad Motorfinger was released the same day. 10 was released maybe a couple weeks later, but none of these were that successful until early 92 when grunge started to become a thing. And then it was a thing for like the next 2 or 3 years.
So let me ask you this. Was there in Bakersfield, did you have like an alternative radio station?
We had one radio station that was like all of those in one: hard rock, metal, classic rock, and grunge. It was KRAB, Crab Radio. And it was
that's a great tag.
It honestly, it was the only radio station I listened to in Bakersfield.
Okay.
Everything else, we had like 2 pop and R&B stations, and then everything else was country music. So yeah, for people like me and my friends, there was only one radio station to listen to, period. And that was Crab Radio.
Right.
Every single night, by the way, there was a DJ. His name was Bruce Wayne. And he did the Dark Knight show with the real Bruce Wayne.
That's really funny.
Every single night from like 9 p.m. to midnight or something like that. And we would stay up and we would listen to the Dark Knight show every fucking night because the dude had such a personality. He was fucking awesome. And that was the radio station. And like I said, it really came into prominence in 91, 92 when rock, metal, and all this stuff started coming about. And it delved into classic rock too, because I don't know how it was in the rest of the country, but this, the Guns N' Roses and Metallica and this new revival, this new appreciation for hard rock music,
right?
It brought back a lot of classic rock for us. This is when we started delving back into stuff. This is when I started getting into Van Halen's debut album. Okay. Like I had never listened to their self-titled debut album from 79 until after this fucking hard rock phase started kicking in. So me and my friends, we were all starting to go back into the fucking archives and listening to this shit because we only knew what we had been exposed to up to this point. And then we knew like we fucking loved rock. This is when we went back and we listened to the entire Metallica catalog. Was when the Black album came out.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, this is fucking awesome. These guys have 4 other fucking albums out there. Let's go listen to those 2 or 3 or whatever it was.
And that could have been very hit or miss, right? Because it's when you have a band like that, it's such a different sound from the Black album that unless you were into that style of like that real hard rock or, metal, that could turn you off to Metallica if you go back and listen to that stuff.
Yeah, and we were into it, and it really resonated with us. Like all of those old albums, especially that debut album, Kill 'Em All.
Right.
So anyway, you were asking about the radio station. I don't know where you were going with that.
No, so we had I'm trying to find it actually right now. We had a station, it was called Y100 in Philly. And it was an alternative rock station. And that's all that they played.
Yeah.
It's where, if you're familiar with Preston and Steve, it's on MMR now. They started in Philly on Y100.
Okay.
And this was like, I want to say Preston and Steve was there like 93, 94. So Y100 had been a thing. It played like, so you talk about like Nirvana, Pearl Jam, those types of albums, they were playing that music. But it wasn't like you said, it was not necessarily mainstream.
Yeah.
But they were playing that music.
They were kind of some early adopters. Some people that were like,
because it was an alternative music station, right?
Sure,
so, and it's probably, again, I'm reaping the benefit of being in a major metropolitan area.
Yeah.
Right. Philly was always really big for new music and stuff like that. So its proximity to New York, and sharing a lot of the, when bands would come through and everything else. So I know when, especially Pearl Jam, not as much Nirvana, because I never super got into Nirvana like a lot did, regardless of the year. But like when Pearl Jam, that album came out, I remember hearing it on Y100, like on its release. And there was a couple of like, okay, I get this, the fucking the mumbling and the whatever. Which, by the way, one of my favorite all-time songs in my Dave's all-time fucking song list is a Pearl Jam song.
Okay.
It's Elderly Woman Behind the Counter, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, okay.
And it's like many other things, like that particular song is equated with a memory of something.
Yeah.
So, and if we ever get down that road, we'll talk about it more. But yeah, so I said all that to say that in the Philadelphia area, at least, like we had stations like Y100. So, and I know a lot of places they had like college stations that were playing more like offbeat, alternative type music too. So,
so you had more exposure to that
kind
of shit than we did in bumfuck Bakersfield, where we had
one
radio station that played. If you had an electric guitar, you went to this one radio station. So regardless of what your genre or whatever it was. Okay. Fair enough. So anything else on the grunge thing? When we talk about the music of 92, this is going to become very prominent. Even though these albums were technically released in 91, 92 was really when they came into the public eye. So
Mhm.
we'll talk about that when we get into the albums of 92. I want to talk about some world events that I kind of world events. I say that like it's like super important. Some of these are things like the Super Bowl and shit like that, but stuff I want to go over that kind of had some mainstream tie-in to music. The Gulf War. We we didn't even talk about the fact that the Gulf War had started in January of 91,
Right.
and was going on. Do you remember Voices That Care? Stand tall, stand proud.
Not until you posted the link in the Cantina.
Voices That Care are crying. Yeah. But at the time, you know what? I liked it. I liked it. I had the single for that. And the backside of the single, you know how it had all these celebrities and musicians come out and do that? They all had like messages for the troops. And the backside was like 15 minutes of nothing but these celebrities just being like, we're with you, support the troops. But the thing I remember the most about it was, you know, Mike Tyson was part of that, right?
No, I had no idea.
And mixed in with all of these like messages from celebrities and everything was Mike Tyson just going, make us proud. And that was it.
That's fucking great. That is fucking great. I was never a huge fan of like you know, the Live Aid stuff and the We Are the World shit and all that other, like there's big compilations of voices.
You heartless piece of shit.
Fuck people, fuck
I
AIDS,
loved We Are the World.
Yeah, I'm sure you did.
I did.
That's right up your alley.
Fuck you.
You know what? And we talked about the Gulf War. Yeah, it was a big fucking deal of what was going on, like kind of in the background of our lives in 91.
Yeah, because we talked about this before. This was the first like war that took place in our lifetimes,
right?
Because we were far enough removed from Vietnam now, where that was, you know, people weren't talking about it as much.
Well, this was the, you know, from a veteran standpoint, this was the first engagement that happened where there was enough people like this all volunteer military going and doing its stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Do your stuff. Take them out. Take them down.
Take them down. This is when the yellow ribbons thing was big, you know, having yellow ribbons around and stuff like that. And this was the, hey, we treated the fucking people coming home from Vietnam like shit.
Yeah.
Let's not do that again.
Yeah. And
we still bear the benefit of that to this day, to be honest.
Yeah. And that was a big point behind this whole Voices That Care was we want to make sure we don't do the same fucking thing again when these guys come back. And you know, we want to make sure that they know that we care and we're going to help them when they get back and all that. So, you know, to me, I think that was important. I think it was good. And honestly, I think you're never going to see it today. Because most of these fucking Hollywood liberals and everybody, they wouldn't support a war. They wouldn't go out of their way for the fucking troops or anything.
You say that, but I think there's a definitive, like from a sociological standpoint, there is a definitive divide between war and then the people who are fighting it. So
I'd like to think so.
And I think the evidence to that is kind of all around us with like troop support and stuff like that. Like you're never gonna, if it goes back to that in some sort of way, let's just hope it doesn't happen.
Yeah. That'll take us down a whole other rabbit hole. To kind of go along with that, the Super Bowl of 1991, Super Bowl 25, Whitney Houston singing the Star Spangled Banner.
Right.
We've talked about this before. Fucking phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Released as a single. I bought that fucking single when that came out. It was such a good rendition
on a cassette.
Yeah, cassette single. Because remember, this was January of 91. I didn't get my CD player until December of 91. So something else big that happened, Metallica played to 1.6 million people in Moscow in a live concert in I think that was September of that year, which at the time it was the largest concert crowd in history. There have been a couple of bigger ones since then, but at the time, 1.6 million fucking people in the crowd for this Metallica concert.
Non-English speaking Soviet Union.
Yeah, this was right before the fall too. This was like right before the Berlin Wall coming down and everything.
There's some really good footage of you get these young kids in the fucking crowd just like kind of pushing on these icons of the fucking Soviet establishment, you know, with their uniforms looking like they're straight out of something out of a movie.
Yeah, such a huge event. And this kind of ties in with, you know, the Metallica's release of the Black Album and everything else and their rise to prominence. But 1.6 million fucking people
that's a lot of
at a concert.
That's a lot of humanity.
That's insane
Yeah.
to think about.
I think they've done that with the Made in America thing. I think it's gotten up to crowds like that.
Yeah. I was reading this, and like since then they've done like two other big crowds, like one of like 2 point something million, one of like 3 million. It's like, how does that even work?
Yeah.
You know,
you'd have to have speakers like every quarter mile,
Yeah.
like or something like that. It's fucking insanity.
Yeah, but no, that's fucking awesome. Something else that would affect music the next year that happened in '91. Eric Clapton's 4-year-old son dies from falling from a 49-story window.
When I saw this fucking note in the thing, I'm like, I think you said it perfectly in the note. Like, this created the saddest song ever to be put on fucking anything ever.
Yeah, when you know the fucking backstory of what happened, and then you listen to this fucking song, it's like, God damn, man.
Dude. And this was, when did that Eric Clapton Unplugged come out?
I think it was towards the end of '92. Like, Tears in Heaven came out early '92. I think the Unplugged came out later that year. Because they had the unplugged version of Layla, which was a big thing, which we'll get into.
Honestly, if you're gonna for Dave to listen to Eric Clapton, that's what I'm going to listen to, because A, I remember it from this time, and B, I think I love that sound. I just love you're getting the full musical talent.
Yep.
Of Eric Clapton.
So you know, a big news story that happened at the time that would affect music later on. Something else that happened that would affect music later on in November of '91. Freddie Mercury, the front man of Queen, dies from complications of AIDS. So, you know, the AIDS was a big fucking thing for us in the 80s. No, I mean,
that's what you said. You said the AIDS. The AIDS was a thing.
That's whatever. No, but seriously, we were told, like, when we were kids, if you get AIDS, you're fucking dead. It's a death sentence. You're fucking done.
Yeah.
And we had examples, and Freddie Mercury was another fucking example of somebody who contracts HIV, becomes AIDS, and then like that, they're gone in their fucking prime. And
oh my God, all I can think of is inappropriate things right now. It's a terrible shame. It is, but I'm like from Team America.
Oh yeah,
everyone
we all have AIDS. Yeah, they went to see Rent.
AIDS.
But
AIDS.
This would all kind of tie back around in early '92 when Wayne's World comes out, fucking Bohemian Rhapsody and all that. And again, we'll talk about that when we talk about the music of '92. But
don't
this
will you get the horns.
Exactly. Yeah. So before we get into our top 5 songs and everything, was there anything else you wanted to talk about music wise from '91? Like songs, albums, anything?
No, because we're gonna get into our top 5, and I think it'll give me an opportunity to talk about the stuff that I was kind of into.
Then why don't we get started then?
So do we want to say what the fans thought our top was first?
Yeah, let's do that, because then we'll know if they're right, because I love some of the suggestions for you. I'm looking at my phone for the first time, and apparently at 5:30 Vickers told me my mic was dead.
Oh, sorry.
So all right, I'll list the guesses for Dave's number 1. So we had one person thinks your number 1 is Smells Like Teen Spirit. Somebody else thinks it was all right, we're gonna read that one last. Another person thinks it was Under the Bridge from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Somebody else said Unforgiven. One person said November Rain from Guns N' Roses. One person said Enter Sandman. 2 people said Enter Sandman.
Okay.
A third person said any Metallica song, which I don't know if that really counts.
Okay.
And then one person said Baby Baby from Amy Grant.
Wow. How did that song go?
Baby, baby, you do.
Oh, God.
Exactly. All right. So what do you have for me? I'm dying to know. Though I'm pretty sure I can guess.
Okay.
What a lot of these guesses are.
I'm going to actually put the names of the people who made the guess. So Combat Films Hunter said Losing My Religion. Stick 1375 said Jeremy.
Dragon Buddy said more than words. More than words.
Which we've already made that a no.
All right, Luna Girl said someday. Big Sweet said I touch myself.
He was so close.
Helmet Fire said November Rain. Don Della Snooch goes Enter Sandman or something with Mariah Carey. And Big Lovin' says a Mariah Carey song.
They know me so well.
Yes.
So I guess we'll find out.
Yes, we will indeed.
So do you want to start or do you want me to start?
I can start.
Okay. Tell us what you got.
All right. So my number 5. So, knowing that we already did a Metallica episode, right?
Mm.
I deliberately throttled Metallica back.
Mm. I did the same thing with
Yeah.
Metallica and Guns N' Roses.
Right.
I put them to 1 and 1 song each, represented in the top 5.
And I did Nothing Else Matters by Metallica
Okay.
off the Black Album. It's a great fucking song.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to dwell on it. That was my number 5.
All right.
That beat out a couple of U2 songs.
Okay.
So
and I have some honorable mentions, and we might come back to that specific song. So
fair enough.
So I'm gonna caveat my number 5 with something that some people may not remember or may not even know about music at the time.
Okay.
We've briefly talked about cassette singles and CD singles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, during this time in the late 80s, early 90s, singles were a big thing. I know they were a thing with albums, but I never bought albums, like records, right? Cassette singles started to be really big in the late 80s. And something that they started doing to kind of encourage buyers to buy singles was they would do different mixes of the songs, or they do a B-side.
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah. Okay.
So in addition to, let's say I bought Whitney Houston's, I'm Your Baby Tonight.
Right.
The B-side would either be a remix of the song, or it'd be a different song that wasn't on the album, that didn't make the album. Right, exactly. So my number 5 is actually a song that was on a single, but it wasn't the song that the single was made for. It was something else on this single.
Okay.
This was EMF's Unbelievable.
Okay.
The Sin City Sex Mix.
Wow.
So this is a bit of a deep cut, but the EMF song, You're Unbelievable.
Oh!
There is a remix of that song, the Sin City Sex Mix, spelled with a C, C-I-N, City Sex Mix.
Okay.
It's on YouTube if you want to hear it. That remix of Unbelievable is unbelievable. It's fucking awesome. It's so different from the original song to the point where me and my best friend Rob at the time were like, this version of the song is so much fucking better than the original version. This is so fucking awesome. So go back and listen to YouTube it, the Sin City Sex Mix of EMF's Unbelievable.
Okay.
It's really fucking good.
That is a deep fucking cut, man.
Yeah.
I like it.
So, but that's the only real deep cut that we've got here. So my number 4, this, I think it's tough because this song was technically released in 1991, but I didn't know it existed until 1992 because we talk about the grunge stuff, right?
Right.
But I felt like I had to include it on this one because there's no way I could include it when we eventually do the music of 1992. And it's a song by Pearl Jam from their album 10, and it's Even Flow.
Okay.
Even Flow. Start to run like butter. That was my favorite song on the album 10, even though there were some other good songs. The song Black on 10, I thought was really good.
That's a really good song live too, by the way.
Oh, I've never heard them live.
I've gotten to see Pearl Jam live. That was a bucket list show for me.
Yeah.
And, it's not, even if not being a huge Pearl Jam fan, it was worth seeing live.
Good. And I mean, it was between Black and Even Flow. I went with Even Flow because that was the song that really made me like Pearl Jam, even though I did like Alive. I thought that was a good song too.
Right.
But I think Even Flow kind of really did it for me with them. So
no, totally. I got it.
So that was my number 4, Pearl Jam's Even Flow.
Okay.
So what is your number 4?
My number 4 we actually mentioned earlier, specifically Everybody Dance.
Nice.
Dun, dun, dun. So you talk about having the singles, right? So I had the cassette single. I don't know how I got like, because I had very few. I was just mentioning it in the chat, right? I had very few like legit tapes. Like it was either taped off of something, taped off an album, or taped from somebody else. Because my dad had the dual cassette deck, so I could easily tape off other things.
But you didn't have one of your own. Like what did you have at the time for like music players?
I think in '91 I probably had like a little like radio stack, like almost like a shelf unit, something like that, but not like the setup that my parents had and my dad had. He was setting it up to have the best possible sound. Right. So if I was going to tape something, way better to tape it, like especially off of a CD, because we had the CD player, we had a really good fucking tape deck for audio quality and everything else. So
sure.
That being said, I had a fucking CNC Music Factory single.
Nice.
I don't know why. I couldn't tell you where I got it from. Honestly, I tried to think of it, but CNC Music Factory, it just is like
it's fucking catchy, and
yeah.
How could you not love it at that time when you were our age?
Everybody dance now.
I guarantee you, every fucking high school dance played this song at least once during the course of that, and. I mentioned when
you sweat till you bleed. Is that dope enough?
Indeed. Dance till you can't dance till you can't dance no more. Yeah. No, I'm totally on board. As I mentioned earlier in the show, I was a big CNC Music Factory fan.
Yeah.
I mentioned when we did our music of 1990 that I saw them in concert before they became big, because they opened for Vanilla Ice, and like it was like December of 1990. I saw them in concert. So
it's so weird to think it's a weird opener, right?
Yeah.
I mean, isn't it?
Well, not really though. You think about the type of music at the time. I think they fit pretty well with each other, the dance music and Vanilla Ice, because remember, people didn't look at Vanilla Ice in a bad way back then. Some people did, but for the most part, he was the guy for several months at the end of 1990 and the beginning of 91. So that was your number 4. What's your number 3?
So my number 3 is Learning to Fly by Tom Petty.
Oh
yeah, there was just something
I forgot that he was releasing music at the time.
Yeah, and it's one of those, I don't know, there's a Tom Petty has a unique catalog of songs, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of Tom Petty that I just can't get into, but there's a few Tom Petty songs I like really, really enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
And this was one of them. This is like, it had a good video that went with it. For the handful of MTV that I did get to watch, I remember this video. This is like Tom Petty at its Tom Pettiest, right?
Mm.
It's like, and I just enjoyed the song.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, very good choice. And I mean, Tom Petty was great for the whole time he was making music, and he makes one more appearance in the early to mid 90s that we may talk about when we get to that. But moving on to my number 3. So in a lot of those guesses, there was a lot of Mariah Carey talk, and you know that she's going to come up at some point in my list. So my number 3, Mariah Carey released her second album in 1991, which we didn't really talk about. She released Emotions. You got me feeling emotions.
Oh my God, yeah.
Deeper than I've ever dreamed of. But bigger than that song, than the Emotions song, the song Can't Let Go. Kind of a love song. Even though I try, I can't let go. Something in your eyes captured my soul.
All right, yeah, that's okay.
Every night I see you in. Yeah, love that fucking song. Yeah, it was a love song. It's sappy. You know what? Fuck you. I still like it to this day. It's still in my rotation of songs that I listen to. And you know what? No shame in my game.
Obviously.
So that was my number 3.
Okay.
It's my number 2?
Yes.
All right. We talked about Metallica.
Yep.
We talked about the Black Album.
Yes.
A lot of songs from that album could have made either of our top 5s.
Sure.
And I felt like I had to pick one.
Okay.
And I went with Nothing Else Matters. So fucking, again, fantastic song.
It's a great fucking song.
Yeah. And we talked about it too during the Metallica episode. They had Michael Kamen come on, the famous composer, come on and do the orchestration part of this. And that led to the S&M album that came several years later that he worked on with them. But
yeah, it's very melodic, but like it's such a good song.
Yeah.
It just hits at the right spots.
Right, which I mean, I can see from a hardcore Metallica fan from pre-Black Album,
Oh yeah,
they probably listen to this and they're like, "What the fuck, man?"
yeah.
But from a mainstream audience, from somebody who didn't know Metallica from anything before this, great song.
And honestly, if you're not a Metallica fan and Black Album, like I think if people just know this album for Enter Sandman, I think they're missing out on really, really good music.
Oh,
I mean, like
every song. I know the lyrics to every song on that fucking album.
Same. You talk about the CD player. This is one. I had the CD, but it wasn't until like either 92 or 93 even.
Mhm.
And this was my running CD.
Okay.
This whether I had it on tape for the Walkman or anything else, like I ran to this album.
Yeah.
So I knew every single fucking song off of it. That's
Mhm.
when I was still training for swimming.
So I guess we're up to your number 2 then.
My number 2. It came up in the chat.
Okay.
And I don't remember if we talked about it out loud, but Anthrax released an album called Attack of the Bees.
And I know exactly what song you're probably thinking about. Was it a song that they sang with another group?
Yes, with Public Enemy.
Turn it up.
Bring the noise.
Yes.
I know every. It is
Grace. How low can you go?
Death Row.
What a brother know.
Once again, back is the incredible Rhyme Animal, the incredible D. Public Enemy #1. 5-0 said freeze, and I got numb. Can I tell him that I never really had a gun, but it's a wax of the Terminator X gun. Now it got me in the cell because I reckon say sell because a brother like me said, well, Farrakhan's a prophet that I think you ought to listen to. What can you say to do? What you ought to do is follow for now. Hell, what do people say? Make a miracle.
D.
On the lyrical. Black is black. Oh, and we're going to win. Check it out.
Come on.
Yeah, y'all, come on. Here we go again.
Turn it up.
Bring the noise.
Woo.
Yeah. It's such a great blend of two genres.
Yeah.
Right? Anthrax has always been like kind of really like springy. I know that's a great word to describe fucking a metal band.
No, that makes sense.
It's like springy, right? And you insert like Public Enemy with something like this, and it's fucking great.
Yeah,
it's such a great song. I own all types of fucking copies of this. Like throughout my entire catalog of keeping music, this song has ended up in it. And the best part is like my kids came across it one time. Going through the iTunes library. And then I'll play it in the car or something like that. It's just fucking great. It's such a great song. I'm pissed that I completely missed this
because it doesn't come up in like top singles of the year, but like you see, I knew every fucking word.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes me so angry that I completely forgot about that song. Fuck, but yeah, no, that was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. So I guess we're up to your number 1.
My number 1. Honestly, so anticlimactic. I mean, the Anthrax song is so much more fun.
Yeah.
But right now, off the For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge album, it was a great album.
Mm-hmm.
And it probably, the Metallica Black Album and this album probably have equal footing for me because of knowing all the music off of it. And Right Now was something that was played, a lot. I mean, it was on radio stations. I don't remember the video, but
the video was a very progressive type video, had a lot of like messages.
Yeah. And I liked
it. Was interesting.
What I like about like Right Now in particular, as opposed to Pound Cake, which is somebody had brought up in the chat earlier, I like the piano.
Yeah,
like you get that piano bit, and then it kind of like gets in a little harder, and then
which come to find out, Eddie was playing the piano.
He played the piano and for Hot for Teacher, Jump and everything else.
That synthesizer piano. Yeah,
but yeah, it's that. So this is the transition, right? For like I was talking about, between Summer Dave and at school Dave. And this there was an element to this, like, wow, I really enjoyed Van Halen, and now there was people like that had gone to the concert stuff. So we're like talking about the shows. And so it kind of like, it started to break this little bit of a seal between me and some of the more mainstream characters, you know, in my high school life. So, and this album was that element, you know, the Black Album, it didn't have that same impact.
Yeah.
As this For Unlawful Carnal fuck album.
Yeah, really. Yeah,
why are we talking around it?
We've been tap dancing around the fucking title
for no fucking reason whatsoever.
Yeah, and really, like we all knew back in school, right? We're like looking at the title of this, and we're like, you know, we like knew exactly what they were doing with the fucking title.
And I, me personally, I think this was an album because of the potty humor title. It brought a generation of listeners to
of course. Yeah, when we're fucking 13, 14-year-old kids and we see that, we're like, oh yeah.
See somebody with a Van Halen t-shirt that says fuck on it. I mean, come on.
Yeah, no. And you know, the irony of all this is the song right now. If you listen to it, it's all about like kind of seizing the moment, seizing today, right? Like fucking like live your life starting today.
It's your tomorrow.
Where at the time we didn't have any sense of that. Whereas now, as 40-somethings, we realize we had the world at our fucking fingertips back then, and we had no fucking idea. Yeah. And that's the true irony of that song, is the fact that we liked it so much back then, but we didn't really get it until this point in our lives.
I liked it because I liked the piano, and I liked it.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, it was a well-arranged song.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like everything about it was fucking well done. It was Van Halen. It was Van Halen at their peak, like we said.
Yeah. This is the Sammy Hagar album.
Yeah. No, great number one. I like it. So we had to know that my number one was going to be a Guns N' Roses song, right? So I spent a lot of time poring over the songs from these two albums, Use Your Illusion 1 and 2. And it could have been a number of them. I know a lot of people kind of gravitate towards like November Rain, like the Guns N' Roses fans, because it was the big song, the big ballady song and all that. There's a ton of other songs you could have picked from. Honestly, I know every word to every fucking song in both of these albums. I could recite them lyric for lyric right here, right now. Not to be confused with Jesus Jones, but I'm because I knew I had to pick one song from one of these two albums for my number one, and I'm going over it over and over again, trying to figure out, all right, what is the best song? And I landed on kind of a dark horse, a song that was not a single until way later, until maybe 94, and it was off of Use Your Illusion 2, and it was the song Estranged, because it's
track 11.
Yeah, it's such a well-arranged song. It's another long ballady song in the vein of November Rain, but you listen to it. You listen to Slash's guitar in this fucking song. Like the melody that he lays down in the guitar in this, it's fucking just beautiful to listen to. The lyrics, the song, it's basically about like losing your fucking mind and becoming suicidal. At the end of the day, it deals with like mental illness and all kinds of shit, and it's really, really fucking deep if you think about it, and like feeling like you're estranged, you know, like you're kind of an outcast, you're outside the norm and the mainstream and everything, and it's a good song. And if I had to pick one song that would kind of represent like what is best from those two albums and the fucking 22 songs or whatever represented by them, I landed on Estranged, even though there's so much good stuff in there. There's stuff that was like had a lot of mainstream popularity, that stuff that had a lot of underground, like stuff that, you know, you mentioned Duff McKagan. He was the lead vocalist on a couple of songs. Izzy Stradlin, who left the band in 91, he had his own song on there that was really good.
I forgot he was in that band.
Yeah. And he had a song where he did the lead vocals. Like the thing about these two albums was there is so much shit coming at you from so many different directions. Different vocalists, like Axl Rose was not the lead vocalist on every single song on these albums. There was one song that Axl Rose was the only one who had any input whatsoever on it. Like the rest of the band didn't even know this song was going to be on the album, specifically talking about My World from Use Your Illusion 2. Like Axl tacked that on at the fucking end. Slash and everybody else is like, what the fuck is this? Because it had like a lot of like techno beats and stuff in it. And so much shit going on. But if I had to try to pick one song that was like the best song, I'd land on Estranged. It was it was really good. Good theme, good background music and guitar and everything else. So it's tough to say, but it had to be a Guns N' Roses song. It had to be.
Okay.
So
nobody got our number ones. By the way.
Okay, well, nobody picked any Van Halen song for you.
Nope.
But they did pick some Metallica stuff, and let me just verify it, see if anybody picked Nothing Else Matters. No, it was all Enter Sandman for the Metallica people.
Yeah.
Well, Big Lovin' said a Metallica song, but again, it wasn't your number one. So
yeah. I just, you talk all this good stuff about Guns N' Roses. I can't get there. Funny though, sidebar. My next door neighbor, they name their dogs after. Well, they've named a couple of different dogs after Guns N' Roses. Like they had a dog named Axel that just recently passed away. They got a puppy. That puppy's name is Duff. So, and then if they get another dog, that dog's going to be named Slash.
Well, if you remember, you and I used to fly with somebody. Her son was named Axel.
Oh, that's right.
And the first thing I asked her when I learned that, I'm like, was that after Axl Rose? And she kind of dodged the question a little bit, but she didn't really deny it either. So
I don't think that's why.
Okay. I'm just saying.
That's fair. Naming your child is a dog is one thing. Naming your child is quite another.
Sure. But her son's name is Axel.
Facts.
So what other male Axels do you know in this world?
She's fucking Southern. It could be a completely Southern thing.
Yeah, she's from Alabama. So that's a whole different universe there. I have some honorable mentions. Do you?
I do. So go ahead.
A song we haven't talked about, but the Scorpions, Wind of Change. Really good fucking song, if you ask me. I fucking love that song. They released a live version of it several years later that I loved even more.
It's a good melody.
Yeah.
I think Kathy actually brought that up yesterday because I asked her what would be in your top 5. So she was going through kind of the same list that we went through.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good song.
But the way you're responding makes me think that you were not a fan.
It's not something we're going to actively seek out to listen to.
Yeah. See, I knew a couple of friends that had the album, and I made a tape copy of the album. So
that wasn't associated with a movie, was it?
They had a song that was associated with a movie. I think it was in either 91 or 92. The fucking racing movie with Charlie Sheen's brother, Emilio Estevez, and fucking the musician Mick Jagger. Emilio Estevez and Mick Jagger were in like
racing
some
movie.
Yes, like a futuristic racing movie, and the Scorpions did a song for that movie. Jamie, look that up.
I'm looking it up now.
Yeah. But yeah, the Scorpions did a song for that soundtrack. And I think that was on the same album that Winds of Change was on.
Okay.
What's the movie? Free Jack. Yes. That was Mick Jagger, right?
Fucking. Yeah, no, okay.
And Scott from Use and Abuse is saying that Winds of Change was actually released on their album Crazy World from 1990. The single was released in January of 91. So technically it was a holdover from 90. So I guess that doesn't really count.
It was released in 91 though.
Yeah. So what do you have for an honorable mention?
We kind of mentioned it already, but like anything off of that fucking U2 album.
Octoon Baby.
Yeah, especially
one was the big song from that, but Mysterious Ways was another pretty big single from them.
One was moved off the list to make room for a Metallica song.
Okay, fair enough.
But yeah, it's a great fucking album. There's not. Yeah, it's a good album. I don't know.
Another song that I really liked, and I've already brought it up a couple of times, was "Color Me Bad's I Want to Sex You Up."
Mhm.
That came very close to making the top 5.
I just remember one. Yeah.
So that was in my honorable mentions. What do you remember?
Are you down with OPP?
Yeah, you know me.
Yeah. So that was in 1991.
Yeah, it was. And you want to hear a fun fact?
Yeah.
I didn't like the song.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't like it. I thought it was stupid. I knew exactly what they were talking about. I'm like, it's fucking dumb. Whatever. It wasn't until years later where I started to appreciate it.
I bet you know all the words.
Oh, I do.
Yeah. See,
and it was in that playlist that Kristen and I listened to earlier on today.
Yeah,
So.
Kathy and I were singing it the other day. It's just funny. I had no idea Jason was not down with OPP apparently.
I was not.
Well, or Naughty by Nature.
Either. Yeah, neither
Not
really
because I hate you.
Neither moved the needle for me.
Yeah, I just thought that was fun.
Now, you know what I did think was fun from a hip hop standpoint that almost made my top 5, but it's an honorable mention. Salt and Pepper, if you remember them. They did a little song where they talked about sex.
The Push It song?
No. Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk
That
about
was
you
91?
and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be.
Let's talk about sex.
Yeah. No, that was 91.
About sex.
And you know, it touched on subjects like fucking STDs and promiscuity, and it was a good song.
Let's talk about sex. Let's talk about burp, burp. And you know what? Just even the word "sex" in a song like that was a little bit like
that was risque at the time.
Yeah, like wow, they're just talking about sex.
Like they said the word "sex" in the title of the song.
If
It's like,
only
whoa.
they could hear 30 years later some of the shit that's on fucking radio now. People would lose their fucking minds.
I mean, to be fair, I also owned albums from Two Live Crew at the time.
Yeah,
so.
but Two Live Crew is almost tame compared to some of the shit that's out now.
I suppose. All right.
Yes, I suppose.
Do you have any other honorable mentions? I have one more.
Do your one. I had one more. I can't.
All right. Well, I have one.
Search it and I got distracted.
This is a bit of a deep cut. It was not out for very long. I don't think it really got much mainstream exposure. And this kind of goes along with the whole Voices That Care thing. Also, at that time, a little group called the Peace Choir came out, and they redid the John Lennon song "Give Peace a Chance." And this was fronted by John Lennon's son, Sean Lennon.
I remember this song.
And they basically, it was, they did it a new version of "Give Peace a Chance," and I liked it. I really enjoyed it, and I actually have the music video for this saved in like a YouTube playlist and everything. So, all we are saying,
that's one of those songs.
Give peace a chance.
It would come on, and I feel like it would come on around like Christmas time, and on WMMR, and it was just fucking annoying.
Okay, because I remember getting very limited airplay on like MTV in early 91 and then never hearing of it again. Like I didn't hear that song again until I was able to look it up on YouTube, several years ago.
Yeah. Oh, no, here it is. The Black or White, Michael Jackson.
Doesn't matter if you're black or white.
And we mentioned it earlier.
Yeah, so that was him basically saying he would fuck any little boy. Doesn't matter if they were black or white. He liked little black boys. He liked little white boys.
He didn't see color, and it's something to be admired.
Yeah, it didn't matter if you were Macaulay Culkin or Webster or
Macaulay Culkin.
It doesn't matter. Like if you were a little boy, regardless of the color you were, he would have, good times with you.
I was looking. So this list I was looking at, it was like a Hot 100 list. And then it had Madonna's Justify My Love.
Yeah. See, I saw that. And That was weird because it was initially on the Immaculate Collection, which came out in 90 that we talked about
Right.
in the music of 90. But I guess the single and the video came out in 91, but then it wasn't released again as an album or on an album until like 92 or 93 when she did the Sex Book and that fucking like super hoary album that came with it. Do you remember all that?
No.
You don't remember
None
the
of
Sex
that.
Book?
Well, I remember it being there was a controversy, but like
Yeah.
all this encyclopedic information you just doled out, no fucking
Like,
clue.
how do you not remember this shit?
Why? Why would look? I have a tough enough time keeping the fucking penguins on the iceberg as it is. Like, I don't need those penguins.
Yeah.
I fucking don't.
Yeah, but I mean, from what I can tell, yes, Justify My Love came out as a single in 91, and there was a music video associated with that MTV wouldn't air because of the fucking content in it. And I know that there was that Viewer's Choice channel on the local cable station that I talked about when we talked about the music of 1990 that would play it. So every once in a while, someone would request it and you'd see the video, and it was, it was something for a fucking, hold on, what was I in 91? 14-year-old boy?
Yeah.
Seeing, I'm like, ooh,
yeah.
Well, that's something.
It was NC-17.
Yeah.
Like as it would stand today. But whatever. As a song, it's fucking it's awful.
There's nothing to it, right? It's like her just kind of like
it's
whispering and moaning into the mic and
oh,
1, 2.
Oh god.
Waiting for you to justify my love.
And touch yourself. Oh, I don't want.
That's a different song.
Oh, same meaning though. That's all I had.
Pretty much.
I wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, no, that was the same for me for honorable mentions. Well, what are you doing, iPad?
I don't know.
No, stop.
You're finger fucking the shit out of it over.
I am just like, and nothing's happening.
That's what she said.
Indeed. Oh, no, I have one more honorable mention. It was part of a music video, and it's an honorable mention for a song. George Michael. Remember him? Remember that guy?
Yes.
The Wham guy. And
right.
You put the boom boom into my heart. I can't believe George Michael was gay. I mean, women loved him. He did a song in 91 called Freedom 90. And you watch the music video for that, and like he got all of the top supermodels at the time. Exactly. And like this was probably the sexiest music video like you would ever watch, again, as a fucking 14, 15-year-old kid in 1991.
Hang on. I gotta look this up. Oh, that really didn't come out till then? Hang on. Oh, that was 88. Right.
What are we talking about?
No, it's so like when you said that, like the sexiest video, then I immediately thought of the Simply Irresistible video.
That doesn't hold a candle.
Yeah, but think about prepubescent boy, and you're like looking at it like there's something about this that I like.
Well, see,
I'm not 100% sure.
But that's the thing about the Freedom video. This is post-pubescent boy, right? This is boy who now has his pubes and now knows what jizz is and knows how to, work his equipment to some extent. Seeing all these fucking supermodels in almost no clothing throughout the course of this video, and it's like, I like this. This does things for me, and this moves things that, make me pay attention. So yeah, like just go back and watch the video for George Michael's Freedom 90. He's not in the video at all. I think he has like
perfect.
There's like one frame that he's in, but the rest of it is all these fucking supermodels. Cindy Crawford, it was in it, and pretty much think about every fucking major supermodel in 1990, 91.
Listen, you mentioned Cindy Crawford, man. This is that time. This is like her. You're going to fucking Spencer's and getting your poster of Cindy Crawford to keep on the wall for your spank bank.
Oh yeah,
and just Kathy Ireland.
Yeah,
big at that time.
That's right. So
anyway, that should be a whole show in and of itself, just like
the supermodels of the early 90s. Yeah.
Wow.
So
interesting.
But that was it for my honorable mentions.
Get in trouble doing that research.
Before we close this out, do you have
Shy boob?
Do you have any football stuff you want to talk?
But were you talking like fantasy football?
Any football, NFL or fantasy. Like you and I are playing each other in fantasy.
Yeah,
right?
we are engaged in a match right now of me losing because Aaron fucking Rodgers decided he wanted to stick his head firmly up his own ass.
I'm pretty sure I said last week that I thought the Packers were going to implode this year. It was too much distraction in the offseason, and like I didn't think it was going to be this bad, honestly.
I think this is an anomaly. I really do. I think the Saints had a lot more to prove to themselves than
sure.
The Saints play well under adversity, right? Why were they playing the game in Jacksonville? Well, because they couldn't play in fucking in New Orleans because it was underwater, right? So that's like that whole calling. That's making their Super Bowl one back in the day when they did, because it was like, oh my God, it's like everything. They had the entire like this groundswell of fucking, oh, this is, we're keeping the city together by being a winning team.
Is that like when they won was right after Katrina?
I'm pretty sure.
That would make sense because it just so happened that the Patriots won right after 9/11. The Saints won right after Katrina.
Yeah, the Patriots won because Belichick fucking was filming everybody. He was probably filming them in the shower.
Oh yeah.
Fucking Belichick. Hang on. When did the Saints win the Super Bowl? 2010.
Well, that was the year. No, it was before that because I remember them in the NFC Championship intercepting McNabb and running it back for a touchdown in Philadelphia.
You can go fuck yourself.
And that was well before 2010.
I don't know. Anyway, it's irrelevant. I think the Saints had more to prove. I heard something that they selected Jacksonville to play the game because it was like, how expensive would it be for a Green Bay fan to actually travel to Jacksonville? So they made sure that they picked the location because I guess the Saints could pick where they wanted to play.
Right.
So they chose Jacksonville because it was close enough where you get Saints fans, but far enough away that Packers fans won't travel.
Okay, because I was gonna say you want to pick a place where the fucking Packers fans won't go. Like we'll play in fucking Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah, but like the Packers are they travel well.
And they have a lot of front runners too. Like a lot of people who aren't from Green Bay who still love the Packers.
Yeah, and whatever. I can't besmirch them. They had fucking success. But anyway, from a football standpoint, honestly, my big takeaways from the weekend are Penn State winning because they were supposed to win, but they won in a convincing way. And it was one of the things that were back at Beaver Stadium. They had a crowd for the first time, so it was sold out against Ball State. Like, in a normal world, that game would have never sold out. But they fucking sell out against Ball State. Next week is huge for Penn State because they're playing Auburn, and it's the whiteout game.
Oh,
so it's gonna be a big game
in
State College.
Ooh, man.
There's a part of me that wants to like drive out there, but it's such a shit show on game day.
Can you even get tickets?
Probably not at this point, but just to be around the stadium, like you can hear all that shit going on from my daughter's apartment.
I would imagine.
You can hear the PA announcer in the stadium and everything else. So I'd hate to drive all the way out there for them to fucking lose.
Right.
But at least, I get a chance to see my daughter. So anyway, Penn State winning. Cool. Ohio State lost. Fucking even better. It's just like,
who'd they lose to?
The Ducks, Oregon. So, and there was this fucking kid at work, right? He's talking mad shit about, because I made the comment like, I think the Buckeyes were 2 touchdown favorites against the Ducks, and I'm like, I don't think I'd take that bet. I think the Ducks will cover.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, Ohio State's such a better team. Blah 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 blah. The Ducks almost lost to this other team. I'm like, okay. And then sure as shit, they fucking turn around and lose to the fucking Ducks. So, yeah, fuck Ohio State.
Yeah.
It couldn't have happened to a better team. Yeah, and then football Sunday, the Eagles win. Hooray.
Yeah, it was the Falcons, which So this is the thing. I mean, obviously a win is a win, which is a good thing. Some of your fans, I'm not saying you. I know you know how to manage your expectations, but some of your fans need to like cool their tits a little bit. Because like some people in certain circles have already crowned the Eagles as like the East champions, and
that's insanity.
Yeah.
Like if you know any, see these are the fans that give other Philly fans a bad reputation because they're like, I'm going to tell you right now, I think I made the prediction when we talked about it before. I think the Eagles are an 8-8 team at best.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Jalen Hurts is not the guy. I think he's just not the guy. And all Sunday did was I was entertained by the football game. It was a managed game. I wanted to see, like, you have these wide receivers that fucking run these insane 40 speeds, right? They're undersized because they're fast. So how do you make those players viable? You need to fucking throw the ball down the field. I don't think Jalen Hurts can throw that ball.
Yeah.
I just don't think he has the arm for it. He just does not. He lacks the arm talent. And I'm fucking so sick and tired of hearing about, he's such a leader in the locker room. And, he's fucking great. I don't give a, who fucking cares? I don't care. I want you to be able to fucking throw a deep ball so that it opens up the running game and opens up other things. I don't give a fuck. I'll stand there and dink and dunk fucking passes, right? Oh, wow, he threw a great pass, a great touch pass into the end zone. Great. He stood there in a clean pocket and basically threw it into a fucking trash can.
Yeah.
Like, anybody at that level should be able to fucking do that.
Yeah.
He showed me nothing. The best part about that game for me was I think Devontae Smith is going to prove himself as a really good wide receiver. And
he looked good.
The D-line looked great. With Josh Sweat and Fletcher Cox look good. Like, they didn't get the numbers. Like, they weren't sexy fucking defensive numbers, but they rushed 4 almost the whole game. They weren't like doing these all out blitzes.
Yeah.
And they were putting pressure on Matt Ryan. So again, it's fucking Atlanta. 0 expectations out of fucking Atlanta.
Yeah. I feel the same way about the 49ers, like going into Detroit, and the same thing. Like, it's Detroit. I mean, nobody expects anything from them. Sorry, Don, but like, Detroit fucking sucks. They'll always suck. I don't care who the quarterback is. I don't care.
Goff just looked bad.
Yeah.
Just looked bad.
And I mean, yes, this game made the 49ers look good for 3.5 quarters. But I'm not putting a lot of stock into that because they are in the toughest division in the entire NFL. I don't care what anybody says, but all 4 teams in that fucking division legitimately could make the playoffs. Like, they have teams around them that can make the playoffs and make a run.
Listen, I think your quarterback issues in San Francisco are going to keep you guys from the playoffs.
Yeah, and I mean, Garoppolo had some good throws. He had some good moments, but he also had some bad moments.
Who finished the game?
I would imagine Garoppolo.
I don't think Garoppolo finished that game.
Well, but he didn't get injured.
No, which makes it worse.
Well, so I mean, here's the thing: they went up a pretty significant. They were up like 44-17 or something like that, and they let the Rams come back. They played a very soft prevent defense. Mm-hmm. They let them recover an onside kick, and then all of a sudden it was like, "Fuck, we have to actually like pay attention again." So they took their foot off the gas. They're like, "We got this." Ah, shit! They scored twice. I guess we need to like
the prevent defense just makes you
but
from winning.
Yeah, but I mean the quarterback situation, that was only because they were up by so much and they just kind of.
I think there's no confidence in Jimmy.
I mean, he played pretty well. Like, he threw a touchdown pass. He had quite a bit of yards.
Is he
no turnovers. He had one fumble that they recovered themselves, but
I think Jimmy G is as much a good game manager as Jalen Hurts ultimately.
Yes.
And
like
the difference is that Hurts actually could run away from stuff, whereas Garoppolo is not running.
Yeah, no, like at this point, Jimmy G is going to be a game manager. Like, he's going to be a Trent Dilfer type of person.
And honestly, I don't think in this league you win football games that way. That's why I don't see Jalen Hurts thing. Now, that being said, I think we can beat the 49ers.
Can you though?
I think we're going to have. My prediction is that we're going to win, and we're going to win because of a defensive turnover. I'm putting it here.
Put it right here.
We were supposed to put a new bet on the mixer there.
I think we did, didn't we? Wasn't there?
Well, we
Didn't I put down a $5 or something?
We were supposed to, but they're still only $2. Why don't we just make the $2 that have been on the mixer for like 2 years?
I'm bringing a 5 in, and I'm telling you, the Eagles are going to win.
It's not going to happen, man.
Okay.
Like, again, this is the Eagles fans managing their expectations, and
no, this is me understanding football and thinking that the Eagles defense is going to create turnovers.
What defense?
I mean, what defense? All right, well, we're going to find out.
All right,
we'll learn today.
Which, by the way, has our game started? Like, to talk about our fantasy game, it's been pretty close the whole way, and it's really one guy at this point.
Honestly, I have one guy left, and he has to. It's fucking Brown from the Ravens tonight, and he would have to fucking have like 23 points tonight, which isn't going to happen.
Well, but I mean, that's not also out of the realm of possibility either. It's so dependent on how the game goes. There is a chance.
Listen, I should have. The game did start, or it looks like it did. Anyway.
It did, yeah.
I left a lot of points on the bench because I was a bit of a pussy. I made a huge investment in fucking Miami with their wide receiving core and didn't start any of them because I'm a pussy. And look, I had fucking Aaron Rodgers got me 2.32 points. You're not going to win in fantasy when your starting quarterback gets you 2.32. The only reason it's even close is because I had Winston in the super flex slot and he went fucking bananas.
He did
in that game.
But I mean, I had Kirk Cousins in the flex slot and he got me 24. So and I love that about our league, by the way. Like the way that you did that, I think that's fucking perfect for a 12-team league. Having that flex slot able to be a quarterback, perfect.
Yeah, see, I know things.
Yeah.
And Kelly did bring up one of the highlights of the fucking weekend was for me as an Eagles fan. The Cowboys lost.
Yeah.
The Giants lost. The Redskins lost. And by the way, the Redskins had a fucking sewage pipe bust in their fucking stadium and rained shit water on people in the stands.
I've seen the pictures, which is fucking hilarious.
Way to go, Washington football team. And you managed to fucking get Ryan Kirkpatrick hurt for Fitzpatrick.
Yeah. Well, and the funny thing is, on the opposite end with the NFC West, every single team in the NFC West is 1-0 right now. They all won their game. So, and that's what I'm saying. The NFC West is fucking stacked. You're going to
have a tough time beating Seattle right now. If Russell Wilson looks like he did yesterday for the rest of the season, he's the MVP.
No, I'm afraid of the Rams. Even Arizona is looking pretty fucking good. So there's no clear-cut fucking path for the 49ers to be that division winner. They gotta be on their fucking A game every time they play any team in that fucking division.
49ers are they're going to be rebuilding halfway through the season.
No, they have a good core. The quarterback position, which is obviously the most fucking important position, is where there's the big question mark. And that's unfortunate. So, and that's going to hurt them.
Yes. It's going to hurt them against the Eagles.
Yeah. Not the Eagles. When they play real teams, it'll matter.
All right.
But when they play these teams that are like, we're 1-0, we're going to the Super Bowl, baby, woo! And they end up like 5-12.
Who is saying that? I legitimately want to know who is saying that. Because
let's roll that tape.
Those people are fucking idiots.
Hold on. No. We're gonna bring this up.
They're idiots.
Reactor.
See, and part of the problem is too the Philly radio people that get all these idiots to call in. Like I was listening to the pregame before the Eagles game, and I'm listening to these guys. They're basically a year ago. They were like huge contrarians against Hurts and everything else. And then suddenly going into this game, into the season, now they're like, oh yeah, Wentz was obviously the problem on this team. And now it's going to be 100% turnaround. I'm like, you fucking fucktards. Like you're going to sit there and get people to call in and get fucking sound bites because you've gone from one end of the fucking needle to the other. How about you actually talk about football in a way that, I don't know, is intelligent? Maybe,
and fucking get fucking Joey Bag of Donuts from fucking Southeast Philly calling in and saying like, "Oh, the Eagles are the best." Woo! Right? No, they're not.
Yeah.
They didn't lose that game. Great, and I was entertained. Even better.
All right. For the sake of time, I couldn't find the group, so
Yeah,
we'll have to discuss this at another time. But
yeah.
shut the hell up. All right, real quick. Next week,
You're so happy. You're so happy we're watching this movie.
I'm very happy. We are watching a movie I have yet to see.
Right.
Which, Kristen, you need to bring in that USB drive. We are watching the classic movie Birdemic. Talking about it next week.
Classic movie Birdemic.
Yeah, just Google Birdemic trailer, and you'll know everything you need to know about this movie. I'm looking forward to this. And then after that, we have a new Star Wars bit of content, the Star Wars Visions coming out.
Yeah.
And we're going to review that the following week. So
Indeed. Speaking of reviewing things,
mhm.
I should probably tell you what's going on out in the Red 5 network and
Sure.
what's going on with the Friends of the Pod.
Yeah.
Because our amazing social media director, Lunar Girl, does all this hard work to put this stuff together.
She does.
I would be remiss if I did not give it its proper attention. That being said, I will read whatever's put on the teleprompter.
Mhm.
So for the Red 5 happenings, in Red 5 news this week, our friends had a Matrix live discussion this past Friday night. There was I meant to talk about it early. There's a Matrix trailer. Fuck, I haven't even been drinking. I hate that. I hate when Matrix trailer. Did you see it?
I did.
What do you think?
So, okay, I think we've talked about this in the past. I saw the first Matrix in '99. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a great concept. I really liked it. Was jazzed for Matrix 2.
Mhm.
Saw it. Came out of the theater thinking, that was a big piece of shit.
Mhm.
Read the reviews for the third Matrix. Heard it was an even bigger piece of shit. Never saw it. To this day, I've never seen the third Matrix.
Is that going to prevent you from seeing this one?
No, because I saw the trailer for this one. I'm like, I see what they're doing.
It's not a continuation.
Yeah, it's because of, from what I read in the third Matrix movie and how it kind of resets and everything. I'm
Mhm.
like, I get it. I could get behind this if they do it right.
Yeah. I really it's a shame because when they did this this live discussion about the Matrix, it was at like 10 o'clock at night, and I've been so swamped with everything I just couldn't log in. But I love the Matrix. The original Matrix movie is one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah.
I did not hate the next two. I think they were good for their own reasons.
Okay.
And really it's kind of, I think what disappointed me most about the third Matrix was they kind of got away from telling that story and got more into what can we get away with CGI. But I still didn't hate it. Like I will watch all three. However, I've seen, like I legitimately wore out a DVD of the Matrix.
Yeah,
Like,
the first
wore it
one.
out.
The first one was great. Like great fucking concept.
Groundbreaking.
Yeah.
Like with the technologies and the things that incorporated, and it just was it's a great movie. It's a great fucking movie.
I just think they went off the rails.
I just think they decided to get, I don't know. It's something, there's something happened in the story that I think we as fans, we didn't want to see it go down this particular path. And obviously the Wachowski brothers or sisters or whatever they are now, which is perfectly fine. I have no idea what their pronouns are.
I think they think they're women
both
now.
think they're women?
Yes.
They're both identify as women.
Yes.
Okay. Fair enough. But regardless, I enjoyed it. That's the first bit of water you've had, by the way.
You're telling me this because
I'm just, remember in the beginning of this, you said you're going to moderate with water.
Hold on. Look at that. I barely had any.
Anyway, so in the Red 5 They had a Matrix Live discussion this past Friday. The discussion was hosted by Andrew and Marisha from Coruscant Radio and joined by Don from the ATSW Escape Pod.
Fuck that guy.
97 Bravo from the Convergence and Todd from WSTR Media. Catch the intriguing replay of them going down
Oh yeah.
the rabbit hole on Scarab
Oh,
Scuttlebutt
never mind.
Podcast on YouTube.
You had me at going down.
This is the last week to participate in voting for the 2021 Parsec Awards.
He's not listening.
If you haven't already, please go vote. If I stop every single time, I will never get through this read. If you haven't
That's my
already, please
plan.
go vote for your favorites in sci-fi and fantasy topics from January 2020 through July of 2021. Lunar Girl put the link at the top of our link tree, which she has posted in our bios on Instagram, Twitter, and in Discord. So please take 3 minutes to go vote. This week, Lunar Girl is going to feature 97 Bravo on Friday's Friends of the Pod. Bravo is an Army vet who has a podcast, The Convergence, where he discusses everything from the latest in pop culture to controversial news headlines, where you can always count on honest opinions. He's also an avid gamer, which he live streams on Twitch and YouTube. Find 97 Bravo. That's spelled out NINETY, the number 7, BRAVO.
867-5309.
On Apple and Spotify. You know, the best part is like she put in here, like it says find 97 Bravo, right? So I spelled it out. And then in the next line, she tells me to say that. Anyway, on Apple and Spotify, in addition to YouTube and Twitch, find other shows on the Red 5 Network family. Go to red5network.com. Like I mentioned at the top of the show, they're still working on the update, so you may not see our smiling faces on there just yet, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
Friends of the pod. There should be an exclamation point there or something. There's a little
Sure.
There's a little star though. See a little star? So I don't know how to necessarily.
Well, it's friends of the pod.
Lunar Girl is running the Star Wars 30-day challenge for the month of September. Hop on over to Instagram and click on our stories to play along daily. She's also will be posting a link to our new Spotify mixtape for 1991, as discussed today.
Yeah.
Playlist this evening after she adds our Dave and Jason's favorite songs we discussed during the show. Yeah, I need to stop ad-libbing because she actually says the same thing that I'm ad-libbing. The Use and Abuse podcast, which all these people are in the chat, living it up.
I'm not even
Dogs and cats
in the chat.
living together. Use and Abuse podcast is back from hiatus on Tuesday. Hosts Scott and Kim will go live at 5 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time for this week's racing recap. Fucking 5 a.m. Featuring NASCAR Snooze Fest at Richmond, followed by F1 at Monza and IndyCar at Portland. Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern, they will be remembering the 20th anniversary of 9/11 and how it affected them and the nation. Hop into their live chat on YouTube or stream them on your favorite podcasting app. Trash talking has commenced in the Sidebar Cantina Facebook group, and has indeed. We did not see. I didn't jump into the trash talking because I can do it right in front of you for the pod.
Yeah.
So
Well, especially when you knew you were going to lose, so you probably pulled it back a little bit, and you're like, well, I know Jason's going to kick my ass, so I shouldn't really talk shit because it's just going to come back in my face when he kicks the shit out of me, when my fucking who's your fucking guy? Some Ravens player? Weren't the Ravens relevant 12 years ago?
Are you done?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So trash talking has commenced in the Sidebar Cantina Facebook group as our fantasy football league kicked off this past week and is still continuing tonight.
Yeah, M. Brown from the Ravens, who has 0 points still, even though the game started a while ago.
Shocking. Look, this fucking week, Aaron Rodgers, 2 fucking points. This would be a completely different conversation if Aaron Rodgers even just, you need to leave a little bit in the bottom for.
Fuck. Drip, 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 drip.
Aaron Rodgers even does a modicum of effort, then this is a completely different conversation. But he didn't, and it's going to cost me. So, sad face. It's the first week. It's one game. Anyway, Fantasy Football League kicked off this past week, which means the exciting return of the Booth in the Back podcast. Host Don Delasnooch and Brady Big Lovin' welcome newcomer Lunar Girl to the booth to recap the wins and epic fails of our league. otherwise
which
known as Aaron Rodgers.
if you were not fans of ours 2-3 years ago when they first started doing the booth in the back, it was fantastic.
Fucking great.
Yeah.
I you know what I want them to do? I don't want them to do it in the studio. I want them to go back into the fucking kitchen and do it at the table. I think
You want them to do it in the back at the table?
No, do it back
in the
at
back.
table. Do it from the back at the
At
table.
the table. Okay.
In their kitchen.
Gotcha. It's not very hygienic, but
Well, we're not eating there.
Uh-huh.
The podcast will be Wednesday nights at 6 p.m. Eastern sharp during fantasy football season. The show will stream live exclusively to the Sidebar Cantina Facebook page or Facebook group via Facebook Live. Luna Girl is our Facebook group in the link tree posted in the bio of all our socials. So make sure you find us to see this tasty treat.
So the tasty treat is going to happen when they do it in the back in the kitchen at the table.
Yes.
Okay, makes sense.
This week on the Escape Pod, hosts Don Della Snooch and Brady Biglovin are giving us their top 5 80s movies with a Patreon family component.
Ooh.
I'm surprised. I should be paying attention to that.
Top 5 80s movies, man. That would be a very hard list to make.
It would.
Like, does that include Star Wars? Does that include Indiana Jones movies?
I don't think
I
don't think they're including Star Wars.
because you can't, right? Because that skews the whole fucking curve.
Right.
Because like if you include Star Wars movies, Empire and Jedi have to be in that top 5.
Yeah.
So that's 2 slots already that are taken up.
It's almost you have to consciously remove them from the equation.
I think you have to remove Indy also. Like otherwise,
yeah.
Raiders and Temple are both going to be in that.
Yeah. Tune in on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Hang on. Wait. I skipped a part. Will another ransom letter show up at their door? Will Brady tell Don to get his shit together? Will Don edit everything out? You don't want to miss these shenanigans, so hop into our live chat on YouTube at ATSW The Escape Pod Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. You can also stream them on your favorite podcasting app, but you'll be missing out. Sweet Studios reports waffles are just waiting on the syrup and powdered sugar. In the meantime, enjoy covers from the quarantine session and chill out to his acoustic version of 80s hits Take On Me. Subscribe to Sweet Studios on YouTube and give them a follow on your Instagram for the latest updates. New podcast alert! We are excited to announce the all-new Orange and Fett show starring the Cantina family members Matt, Orange Jacket Guy, and Tom, Bronco Fett. This podcast will be premiering on Spotify, so make sure to subscribe and get a notification of episode 1. Couldn't see anything on there.
I know.
It didn't. None of it showed up.
Even with the light?
Even with the light.
God.
If anything, it made it worse.
God damn it, Reggie Ray.
All right. Does this help? This right here.
What?
Does it help?
I can't see anything.
Why
I have no computer.
Jason has to pee.
I gotta piss. All right. So are we done?
We're done. We're done.
All right.
Read.
It was a good read too. So
It was a good read.
Well
Thank
done.
you.
And thank you to all of our friends. And
Thank you for sticking by all our technical difficulties. We've been talking for 3 hours and 13 minutes.
Fuck, that's a long time. And this is going to be even harder for me to edit. And
Facts.
apologies for the late audio. It's going to happen. And until next time, Dave and everybody else, go fuck yourself.
Smash your fucking lip. Okay, now what do I click?
If we're going to stay live, do another countdown so I know when to edit.
Okay. We're doing a live, folks. Yeah. You want me to do it right now?
We'll do it now, yeah.
No seed cereals will be hurting the creation of this podcast. Raiders Ravens scoreless after 7 minutes. Perfect. That makes me so happy. Not. If it came out between 1980 and December 31st, 1989, it's fair game. So that includes all the fucking Star Wars movies? Or, okay. It's fair. Luna Girl, after this, she's going to go back and listen to the show, write down the songs, and add them to the Spotify. Yes. That would be amazing.
Hey, store man works on his can just to be a man who stands on his own. But the book always burns as the story takes its turn. Leaves a broken man.
No idea what you're saying right now.
If you only could live my life, you would see the difference you made to me. To me. So, we're talking Use Your Illusion 2. So Fine. Track 11. Duff McKagan. This is... Me and my friends would listen to this, and this was the funniest fucking track because it's Duff McKagan. Like, he's got to be like fucking drunk as shit, slurring his words like, "Store man works out his can just to be a man who stands on his own." But I still know all the words, even slurred and all. So, good song from Use Your Illusion 2. Let me get caught up on the chat here. Oh, AC? Yeah. You could just say something. I mean, we're not recording anymore, so great show. Good night. Thanks, Hector. Man, he stayed with us the whole time, too.
Sweet.
We still got 11 people in the chat, too, so be entertaining. Dance, monkey. Kristen is bringing out dessert. I don't know if you care, but the thing she's bringing out is pretty fucking good. So, oh hey, speak of the devil, why are you wearing a hat? What's in the box? What's in the box? Eat one. Like, no, legit, they're good. These are pumpkin gobs from Costco. I had one last week, and it was pretty amazing.
They sell really fast. Like, they completely sell out, and then we get them again. They sell it again.
Yeah, lick that cream off it.
It's pretty tasty.
Show them what it looks like to lick the cream off. Like, right on the outside. Just paint the tree.
Bye.
What you got there?
I have a couple things.
What's in the box? What's in the fucking box? What year was that movie?
What's wrong with you?
Jamie, look that up.
I don't know things.
First of all, I thought you might want this.
I'd say 94. 94.
I was gonna bring it out when you were talking about it, but I didn't feel like it.
Wait. Oh man, when was this?
It says it on there.
Oh, 92. Yeah.
Look how much you paid for it.
Well, I didn't pay for it. Jason did. $27.50.
Wow.
Can hold on? Let me. I don't know if I can. God damn it!
Are you okay?
No, I'm mad because my fucking desktop like took a shit on me tonight. But
buy a new one.
I don't know. Can you see this? Like, how does that look?
It's not focused. Back up a little bit. Give it a second. Back it up a little bit. Almost. Yeah, refuses to focus on it for some reason.
Well, it's my fucking ticket stub for my Guns N' Roses Metallica concert, which was supposed to be August 22nd of 1992, but James Hetfield decided to like fucking get third-degree burns over half of his body, and we actually didn't see them until October of 92. So
Lucky I didn't see him at all that year.
Indeed.
For $30.
Yeah, for $27.56. Could you imagine
Nope.
what a fucking ticket price for a show of that caliber would be today? Unfucking believable. Good catch. I'm gonna take a picture of this.
This is for you. I'm assuming it's the right one. I took it off your desk. Stop him if it's the wrong one.
Oh, yeah. Stick it in.
Okay.
Move it around a little bit.
Okay.
Just keep moving it around. And then eventually something's going to happen. And then Birdemic is going to explode all over your face.
Something's going to have to get unplugged here. Shouldn't be the mics. How about the mouse?
I'm fine. Are you okay?
Sure.
What's the matter with me, baby? What's the matter with you? You know how it is, rocking and rolling and whatnot.
There will be no hugs. I don't know what your guys' obsession is with the hugging.
Fucking hug all over your face.
Okay, Adam is watching this, just so you know.
Why is Adam watching this?
He wants to see me give you your present.
What? Okay.
I have a present for Jason.
I mean, let's be honest. Adam is a freshman in high school. I know what I knew as a freshman in high school. So none of this should be a surprise to him whatsoever.
Can I give you your present
Well, hold on. I got to post this now. The ticket stub.
right now?
Yeah. I'm going to post this in the podcast chat channel in the Discord, which we didn't pimp.
It was mentioned. Once or
In
twice.
show chat. Splat ow. It's like that scene in Silence of the Lambs where she's walking through the insane asylum and he's like, "Hey girl, what's up?" Splat ow.
I don't think he said those words. But
It's basically the gist of it. So what are we talking about?
I have a present for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's see. What's in the box? Did Jamie pull that up?
no.
No?
I got you a mug.
94,
Would
maybe?
you pay attention?
Oh, you're here? All right, let's see. Come on, a mug.
That is the appropriate response.
Oh my god. What the hell is this?
It's a mug with your face on it.
I can see that.
Wow. That is a lot of Jason's face.
Why? Why is this a thing?
I don't know, but I really enjoy it.
Where did you get this?
I had it custom made, and every time I tried to submit the picture, they were all like, "You don't want to do this. Do not do this. Edit this picture." I'm like, "No."
Where did this picture come from?
Gym selfie.
No.
Yes.
There's a fucking Star Wars poster in the background.
It's on your Facebook wall.
Really?
I would imagine.
What the fuck, man? Why?
Brilliant. I love it.
You like it, Dave?
I do.
Good.
Oh no.
Oh my god. It's brilliant.
Oh my god. What is that from?
I don't know what's in the background.
Well, mine has the studio. It's one of our Star Wars posters.
I don't know. It looks like solar panels behind me. I have no idea what's going on.
Let me see it.
It is a traditional Dave pose though. It's fucking great.
Oh my god.
I like.
It's almost like you're in a stadium.
When you look at it from this angle, you can see both the ears at the same time.
It's fucking brilliant. That's all we can drink out of from now on.
Yeah. Why? I don't even understand what's going on.
This is like the picture of what this sound would be.
What made you think to stretch our faces around the circumference of a fucking sphere?
I had some wine, and then I was just thinking to myself, what if I made his face go from one end to the other?
So she was drunk, basically. Oh my god.
That's awesome. Oh god. 1995.
95 for 7?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
That
I
messes
didn't
up
see
what?
7 until probably like 97.
7, 8, 9.
I'm pretty sure I watched that when I was at Keesler at my first tech school.
Really?
I remember renting that on VHS, bringing it back to my fucking dorm room and watching it and being like on fucking pins and needles the whole time, especially at the end.
What are you talking
Like
about?
7, the movie.
Oh,
Like the last 20 minutes,
Love
be
that
like
movie.
gripping my fucking chair, like holy
Mhm.
shit. Yeah, great fucking movie.
All right, I'm going to eject this.
Did you copy the
I did.
movie? All right. So go watch it. Make Kathy watch it too.
She's nice. I mean, I can get her. I'm going to actually try and. Well, I probably shouldn't try and play it right now, should I?
Make it a date night. Well, you should to make sure it works. So you don't like, get to a point where you're gonna watch it and it not work, and
I
then
wonder
be
if
like,
they can hear it.
yeah, I mean, if the volume's up high enough, then they will. But
Oh my god,
what?
it works.
Oh, good.
That's
Just like a
Hooray!
sample.
yeah.
Like a sample shot. Yeah.
You have to watch it all the way through.
I will watch it all the way through.
Oh, I can't wait. I cannot fucking wait for this episode.
God.
I'm good. I'm very full. Mostly of alcohol.
Yeah, exactly. Sent Jason a text message of the price of Metallica tickets for Atlanta, Georgia in November.
Of last year, I would assume.
Or this year.
Price for Metallica in Atlanta. Fucking cheapest, $199.
And that's just Metallica?
Yeah. Like, again, it wasn't just Guns N' Roses and Metallica. This is the thing that I want people to understand. You know who opened for them? I know I've mentioned this before. Motorhead. Motorhead fucking opened. And then fucking Andrew Dice Clay came out for a session, and then Metallica, and then Guns N' Roses
For $25.
Yeah.
It's just stupid.
$27.50.
Still under $30.
Yeah, unbelievable. We were pretty far back, but you could still see the stage. You could see the fucking screens. It was still a fucking unbelievable experience.
So when I saw Metallica, I saw them for free, as we talked about.
Yeah.
Again, trying to use a mouse that's not plugged in. And I haven't been drinking, folks. This is just being fucking stupid. It was sexier when I did it. And yes, there are people in the room with you.
Oh shit! Sorry. Sorry, I thought I was alone.
The noises alone.
I thought I was alone now.
I think that's how the song goes, but okay.
Sure.
Let's see. Atlantic City. I don't know if it's going to tell me how much it cost. Anyway. I went. Let me see the next show. They didn't open with Hit the Lights, did they? Anyway.
I don't want anybody else. When I think about you, I touch myself.
Leave me out of it.
Yeah, me too. Jeez.
Oh, you were the next verse.
So, yeah. So when I saw them in Atlantic City in 2012, it was in a festival. So festival tickets are obviously more expensive.
Mm.
But they played, this was the set list: Hit the Lights, Master of Puppets, Fuel, For Whom the Bell Tolls, The Shortest Straw, The Struggle Within, My Friend of Misery, The God That Failed, Of Wolf and Man, Nothing Else Matters, Through the Never, Don't Tread on Me, Wherever I May Roam, The Unforgiven, Holier Than Thou, Sad But True, then Enter Sandman. And then for the encore, they did Blackened, One, and Seek and Destroy.
Nice.
If you're going to see Metallica, if this is the only time you're going to see Metallica, that was the fucking set list right there.
That's a pretty
That
good
was the
set
tits
list.
right there.
Yeah.
For free.
Nice.
It was fucking great. And my son got to experience it as well. So
Awesome.
excellent. All right. It's late. I got to go. I got to work tomorrow. I don't have fake doctor's appointments like some people.
Hold on.
We spent longer at lunch.
Whoa. I think the pot needs to
Oh fuck yeah, dude.
and needs to have a talk with the kettle, and they need to talk about who's calling each other black.
I want you to listen to what you said
And checkmate.
again, and then try and piece that shit together that you just said. No, believe me, I spent my entire military career at the doctors, or at least the last fucking 3 years of it, that I wasn't in the IG office.
Right.
Still scoreless. Awesome. Anyway,
That was good. Fuck. The technical issues really fucking sucked. So
you'll take it apart. You'll put it back together tomorrow, and it'll work. It's for whatever reason, some memory addressing error.
yeah,
Maybe you have to put in a new stick. How many sticks are in there?
4.
And maybe just try and isolate it down.
It's like 32 gigs too. This was a really good fucking desktop.
It still is. It's just a memory issue. It'll be fine.
Anywho,
So peace out, bitches. See half of Jason's head for an entire episode, or at least half of it. See ya.